I ain't never seen it rain during the day so much. Anyway, what's up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video. Just out here. I guess the devil's beating his wife. That's what they say is happening when it rains in the broad fucking daylight. And I swear, North Carolina, the last couple of weeks has been doing that. Shout out. I know Green Gorilla just had reparation. Definitely help that brother out there. We always got to support our research brothers, PhD, stuff like that, because they definitely give us a research to verify this work that we go in on. So I'll definitely post the link in the, not description, but the creator post. That's where I put most of my shit. But anyway. So yeah, y'all want to pop up? Y'all definitely can pop up. What up, Marcus? What's up, Pharaoh? What's up, Sam? I am. I know some people commented on a little bit more of that video that I was going in on with on Jessica X's shit. Apparently she was interrupting Roger, and I mean, the thing about it is when women do goofy shit like that, like I said, they just fuck up the whole flow. But anyway, I just pretty much wanted to chill, see what was on the table. See. I mean, well, clearly you already got an opinion on it if you calling it a scam. I mean, here's my thing. My thing is, one of the big issues that we have is we have as black people is we don't have enough black people. We don't have enough black people wanting to really do business. They want to. A lot more black folks than you think have real socialistic personality, socialistic views, and a lot of that is a symptom of being in the gynocracy. So I'll say this: I didn't invest in it, but I do know people that I respect that did invest in it, and I mean, uh, I just find that black people tend to have this thing that they like to jump on black people about shit that if it's a white person they wouldn't be saying shit about, and that's something we gotta fucking stop doing. We really do. It's almost like we look for shit to be scams when black people do it because we're looking to low key verify our own confirmation by. So I didn't invest in it. If you asking me that, same time, like I don't buy in the hype on stuff. Part of, and I'm not even gonna mention the name of it. Y'all, if y'all in the chat, y'all can see it. But part of the reason why I didn't invest in it is because he kind of struck me when I hear some motherfuckers calling young Malcolm and then nah, man, nah. But I will say this: the black real estate sector of YouTube is actually a very, very big sector. It's bigger than the manosphere, and that's one of the things we gotta start understanding. The manosphere has to start stretching into other sectors. It can't be just our stuff that we talk about all the fucking time. But I think there's a lot of other sectors of YouTube. The channels are not aggregated like ours are, and they could benefit from us being kind of like a central hub. They protect in front of this building. But no, but you know what? What I wanted to kind of talk about. So I just got done listening, not Gabe A or Gab. I forget what his name is. It's Gabe, but not to be confused with Gab Talk Media or Gabe A. He's one of the dudes that is associated with Nicole Michelle, and he went in on April Mason. Apparently, April Mason decided to make a little slick post on his fan page. And he's a, he's. I think he definitely has the makings, the personality of having a much bigger channel. So I wouldn't be too surprised there. Kind of fell a little bit away from him with the kind of Nicole Michelle shit because at the end of the day, Nicole really went real hard at people that she really needed to shut the fuck up about. Like for real. And rather than just taking it, because one person she won't talk that shit to is Jason Black. That's one person she won't try to G check like that. And because he was associated with her, even though I'm cool with him, it's like, you know what, I'm not doing that. Because it's so anyway, but he went in on, but he's a good dude. Definitely should subscribe to him. Because other than that, he's rock solid. So he did this video where he started going in on April Mason for about good hour 25 minutes. And As far as roasts go, I mean, I'm sure he could have did a lot better. It was a good roast, but I'm sure he was holding back, even though it seemed like it was. But one of the things that he mentioned was he kind of valid. He saw a lot of the stuff that we all saw. Like, about a year and a half ago, April really made a switch, and it was really kind of before the thing with her cousin. But that was kind of the thing that really highlighted it. Where, and he showed various pictures of her, um, things that are on Instagram. So not like reaching this, but some of the stuff she was showing, I'm like, God damn, like you really going out there like that? And he kept on harping on the fact that she was 45. You got to remember, there's a reason I'm talking about this. First, from a femininity coach standpoint, but the second thing is, you got to remember that she came from the church. And this is where you start really understanding a lot of folks don't really stand on shit. This is why when Kevin always talks about being a part of the church, and he's knee deep in the church. Shout out Sub Zero 3639, who's also knee deep in the church. And you have with the church, with people, you have kind of the gynocentrism of the church, the matriarchalness of the church. And then when you start operating with what the church is really supposed to be, even if you get a little bit away from that context, then you start people calling to Kevin's show. This, I know what it is, but I just want to take this part, and this part out because that's not my real religion. The real religion is feminism. That's what you really adhere to, regardless of how you want to frame it. But this is just something that because you brought up with it and you like it, you just keep it, but you pick and choose. You try to customize it. And when you understand that April used to be in the church, a lot of her money, her clients came from the church, or at least that apparatus that was around it. When I say clients, I'm talking about like the biz like marketing shit, not really just because in Atlanta, all that shit molds together. Like it's really interesting how a lot of different stuff, like how a lot of different, I don't want to call it cliques, but sectors merge together. But it's all rotated around this niggified hustle shit. Guy knows, like Atlanta really should be called guy. If you want to see what a gynocentric, what a gynocracy looks like, just take your ass to Atlanta. You'll find out real quick. And when you look at that, and look, people always say, well, you're judging people. You know what? I'm calling this fucking spade a spade. I'm laying the shit out there like what it is. If people want to take it as judging, that must mean you got something you insecure about. So you go from that to some of the pictures that was seen, and I'll link it in the creator post, the community tab. And it's like, wow, she doing straight lingerie. And I'm not just talking about I'm talking about like it's crazy. It's like, bitch, you're 45 years old. Like for real. Like you got, and I'm like, you can't, you can try to play that off like, oh, well, these people judging me. No, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. And it was just funny to me, man. It was funny to me to see that because one of the things I used to talk about is a lot of the hotep shit. So a lot of the shit where a lot of these females they'll turn into spiritual hoes. Like, remember what I've always said. I've said there's no such thing as born again pussy. And everything that women do is all about trying to remix that womb, trying to keep that womb having value for as long as it can. As long as it can. And it used to be some, you just retire out of it. You really think, hold on, you really think, I'm gonna drop the link because I want to get Pharaoh. I want to get some Atlanta niggas on here. Anybody can join. Obviously I'm liable. I reserve the right not to bring y'all ass on, but anybody can join. But I really want some Atlanta niggas on here right now. But yeah, man, Everybody has a hustle to try to remix their vagina, and it's not. And the thing about it is, you know what you have, and this it used to be the people who knew how to bow out and knew how to play their lane, but now remember what I told you. It's the rise of the Tokyo Tony women, and what that means is you're gonna start seeing women that are fucking at 50 trying to compete with females that are like in their early 30s, late 20s. You're gonna start see because at the end of the day, if you're 24 and under, I'm sorry, but outside of like 26, 27-year olds, you're not competing with that. Sorry, you're just not. Just not. Just not. But you gonna have that like late 20 market, early 30 market, and what's gonna happen? See, this is where the gynocracy is gonna start to eat itself. Is because you got so many different dudes, women like competing for in their mind the same type of nigga. You're gonna start seeing that shit become so much more fierce. And one of the things that Gabe talked about is he talked about because he was basically talking about how some of the people her paying clients it's in their paying groups. Yeah, I hate that. Like this shit, he popped that shit off as soon as I did that. That are in the paying groups, like we're really telling some of the goofy shit she was doing. And one of the things that he said, I'm not gonna say everything, but one of the things he said was that she was basically she said that she didn't care about trying to take another dude that's like in a relationship with another woman. And what you find is again, this comes back to the video O'Shea just did with Lisa Ray talk about she's willing to be an entanglement. And we've talked about this in the Sphere. The women, they don't give a fuck about passing niggas around. They don't give a home wrecking. Women don't care about home wrecking other women. As far as they're concerned, they're going to basically sample that dude. They don't care. And this is kind of like this is how you know that a lot of that girl power bullshit is exactly that bullshit. So you fast forward into a lot of this femininity bullshit, a lot of these femininity coaches, and a lot of them, this is a hustle. It's a gimmick. Now you're starting to hear these chicks talk about high value. I'm a high value woman. I'm a high value. If you're a high value woman, they can't find a man. That's an oxy fucking moron. You can't be a high value woman if you can't find a man. Because by definition, the market has told you what your value is. If you're talking about you're a high value woman as you make a lot of money, that's not what dictates a woman's value, though. Because a lot of the things, see, what women don't understand is what dictates a man's, see, when people say high value man, what they're essentially talking about is there's not a lot of them and they're in demand. You can't be high value and not be in demand. It doesn't work that way. And with women, because again, they can't go so basic on stuff. It's almost too basic that a lot of the stuff that dictates what a high value man is what women are going for. Women are not saying they want a high value man because that's just the flavor of the month. And this is how you know these are like simple things that they were never told. And it's very obvious that they were never told. I'll put it in the chat. Yeah, what's up, Pharaoh? I got you, man. I'll put it in
What's
the community tab.
what's good, Elwood?
No, not much, man. Gabe, like roasted April real bad, and
Uh,
it's funny.
I watched it from the beginning all the way to the end, man. As a matter of fact, it started off. It's like I don't know. I don't know what time you came in on his live to watch it, but it started on Facebook where somebody in the friends sent him one of the pictures on her IG, and and my thing is, we've all seen this. She totally flipped like 18, 24 months ago, man. She's been. I noticed the change back in 2018, which that was about a year and a half ago. Before, like you just said, before her cousin did that whole bull crap charade. So my thing is that that's very prevalent down here in Atlanta. As a matter of fact, in my club promoting days, I would see April Mason, women like April Mason, every day at the club. It was no, you would either catch them at U Bar over there on Camp Creek, You would either catch them. It was a club called the Royal. Over there, like it's like 5 miles down, like on Old National, pretty much right across the street, around the corner where Evander Holyfield
No,
old mansion is at. So
you
my
got
thing is that
faded out.
uh my bad, did I fade out?
Shit, that might be. Damn. Hold
Uh huh.
on. All right.
So yeah, so you catch them up over there. You either catch them at opera or not. It's just women like her are just very prevalent. And that's why I was able to see like between the bullshit for what she was teaching. Cause I'm like, woman, you all the way from Richmond, California, you moved here. I'm like, I can see, what you are. Like, it's funny. So when he cooked her, man, it's just a lot of things that I knew, but it was just pretty much everything was just. I guess I said she had it coming, and plus she came under his post and made a comment which she read on his live stream. So somebody went back and told, which I don't
Well,
know who.
yeah. Well, because you got the thing about it is a lot of this shit be kitty shit. Because one of the things I don't really respect is and I don't really like too many motherfuckers are like the instigators of shit. But no, what the first thing that happened was April went out of her way to go under a post that he was talking about. And
Yeah,
basically, I guess because he was giving his opinion on something, this is what he said. He said that she picked him and she wanted to make this post about, oh, well, this is what all my, that little narcissistic, I'm unbothered but bothered because I'm winning type bullshit. And then,
yeah,
he basically was, and the thing about it is when you really look at what she's trying, I mean, because think about it, lingerie is really sold to women. So,
right.
or for men to buy for women. And so my thing is, it's not so much hating on anything that she's really doing. I mean, if you want to make money that way, there's ways to make it. It's just the thing about it is, because that's what they always want to present it as, is motherfuckers just hating on them. Like dudes are just straight up hating on these femininity coaches. And the thing is, what kills me about this is we can predict where they're going because we've seen the pattern. And this is true for a lot of them. This is true for most of them. You like real talk. Like now, it remains like at the end of the day, I'll give Rebecca Lynn Pope the benefit of the doubt because she is married, and
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the telltale signs. Like most of them ain't married, and they always
Mm-hmm.
get mad about that. And people would say like, "Oh, what about Kevin Samuels?" Well, it's different. It is different for a dude, not because it's a double standard, but because the information. Number one, he's telling them how to get a high value man. Man, number one. So
Right.
from a man's perspective, so it's not the same thing. Now a lot of but a lot of this, I'm just seeing like it's now being obvious about the gimmicks. Like, oh, I'm a high value woman. You're a high value woman, but if you're a high value woman and you can't find a man? Now, from a marketing standpoint, I can see how goofy motherfuckers would fall for that. It's a good title, but when you really think about it, it's like, okay, if you're not a high value woman, if you can't find a man.
Right.
You
That's
you
why I was
you're
about to
not.
say high
You
value
just
to
because
who.
you make money, yeah, just exactly. Just because you make money doesn't make you high value. And the thing is, what you're
Mm-hmm.
starting to see is that with these women are hitting the wall and like hitting reality 100 miles an hour with feminism. You're starting to see how goofy and how incelish. Because a lot of that, let me tell you something. If you're a female and you got a box and the only thing you know how to do is come in somebody like a job interview, that's incel
Mm-hmm.
behavior. That really is. I mean, straight up, if you got to pay for a dude, that's incel behavior.
It
And
is.
people say, well, what's the same thing about tricking? No. Let me tell you, that's equivalent for a man to have to pay for a female just to spend time with her. We're not even talking about
Mm-hmm.
sex. We're talking about just to be around women, you have to pay for that.
Exactly.
That's
Just
it.
to
So
have a
with a
general
woman,
conversation.
if you have a box and you having to take care of motherfuckers, and I'm not saying that's April, but I'm just saying, or you gotta go younger to goofy ass niggas like what Jada did, because you see a lot of that too. And people will say, well, it's a double standard. No, it's not a double standard. You all are doing it because of this, try to do it for the same reason dudes do it. But you all do it because you all want to control somebody. So what you see with a lot of these motherfuckers, what they're really doing is people are living vicariously through them. That's what April's
Mm-hmm.
pull is. People can live vicariously through her and then imagine that at least they're where she's at and then further delude themselves. I mean, people do that in the church all the time. It's just now you're starting to see more secular ways of doing the same hustle. That's what Derek Jackson does. That's what they do. And at the end of the day, part of it is I'm not going to knock the hustle because that people volunteer for that bullshit. You
Mm-hmm.
see the same thing with the Hotep shit, with the Erica Badu shit. You see these females that they want to talk about yoga and yoni and femininity. That was happening before the other femininity shit. That spiritual femininity, and they're always 40
Yeah.
plus. They find a femininity after they've been ran through. This is why I used to say you can't have born again pussy. You can't be ran through and then we're gonna have our second act and then you try to amplify value. Now there's some dudes that'll fall for that, but for the most part, a lot of that shit is fast food calories because the reality is, the dudes that you really want to deal with are not really fucking with you like that. It's only dudes that you can't really stand. That's really they may be giving you a resource like money or something, and even to that extent, that's only as far as that can go. Same thing with these females, and it's money in it. So if you can kind of compartmentalize that, that's cool.
And even those dudes will interview and eventually leave them because they gonna sense that resentment too. So they lose at both ends, to be honest. And the funny thing is that she was I remember a while back looking at her IG page, April Mason, and she kept I guess a dude in her photos. The guy name is Johannes Miles. And if
Hold
you
on,
don't,
time out, Danielle. Hold on, no, time out, Pharaoh. Danielle, you could come up. You can come up if you want to. I mean, I have no problem with you coming up. You saying I misrepresented what you said. I mean, I heard what you said. And it's something that's definitely within the pattern of what you say. You've said more than a few times. So, I mean, if you want to come up, here's the thing. Mm-mm. I mean, obviously, my stream doesn't run so fast it's not already up there. And you tell me what you said and what you meant.
mm,
Man, I can't believe these motherfuckers want to do landscaping right now.
mm.
Whatever. I want to be outside.
but
I'm
yeah,
always fucking, yeah.
but yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
she was all she was pretty much, I guess she was doing like a slick promo, I guess music video or whatever type of video with a dude named Johannes Miles. Now, if you don't know who Johannes Miles is, it's a TV show that he plays. Um, well, it's a TV series that he plays on Stars called Ambitions with Brian White and Robin Givens. So that's it's a good little series. It's pretty much everything is based out of Atlanta anyway, and it actually shows. It's actually a lot of gynocratic. If you actually want to get like a pet peeve of the bourgeoisie that's going on in Atlanta, watch that TV series called Ambitions on Stars. You will get a glimpse
I've,
of
I've, I've
what.
low key seen some bullshit banner about it. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't want to see that bullshit. Because I mean, you see that shit on Real Housewives. I mean, that shit. Honestly, that shit is disgusting to me. To be honest, like shit. Not just as a TV show, but it really is. Because at the end of
Yeah,
the day, it's the type of thing that you realize. I mean, black. It's over unless there's
yeah,
some kind of real fucking like apocalyptic event that shakes motherfuckers out. And shit's done. It's just you just watching it. Sodom. You just basically like. And maybe people will say I'm going black pill or something like that whatever. Now, as far as the last thing that I said, I mean,
hmm
I went out of my way. I went out of my way on that last video to try to assign shit the proper shit. I said I didn't see the whole video. I saw a clip, but based on the clip I saw, the shit really annoyed me. Now, yes, I put your name in the thing because obviously you're the more famous person, but even still, people could have said that was Daniel, whatever. People try to overemphasize the kind of pull that I have in the ministry. I'm just a nigga with an opinion. It ain't like I'm on other people's streams talking other people's shit. But but what I will say is disappointed. But the thing about it is, the reason why I even brought that shit up is because the thing about it, because women that know better still choose to go along with the get along. See, men don't do that. Black men don't do that shit. Some of that is to our own detriment, but black men don't go along to fucking get along. You don't see black men really code up against women like that in the black community. And honestly, that's a big part of why the black community is fucked up. But you see women code up against shit that they know is wrong. You know, and even think about it. I don't know if you were on there at that point. I don't know because I didn't see that part of the video. But I know Roger was saying he was being interrupted, and it's kind of, and, you know, I mean, you and his group, you know, as far as the official line step. So it's like, and it's like, oh well, I can't check a chick or it's not my show. But when it comes to dudes, it's like everybody, women always find the shit to do shit to dudes that they would that they find reasons not to do when it's another female, and that's part of the sisterhood. And when you look at the home record shit that I talked about before with what Gabe said with April, you know, this is another thing. Like, women code up. And they try to act like they don't do this because folks try to pretend that our community is the same as the white community, as the Latin community, but it's not, because they're all patriarchal based. So our community is flipped, and black people know that, but they'll say that and then act like they don't know what that actually means, which means
Mm-hmm.
everything, it goes in the reverse. And yes, I was very fucking annoyed. I am, because quite frankly, you know, and shout out to Angry Man. Angry Man is like really looking at shit too when it comes to folks being in this space. And yeah, folks are keeping an eye on it. And even though me personally, I tend to be a lot more liberal about that, I still pay attention to it, and I'm gonna still call the shit out. So people can say I misrepresented. I invite you all to all listen to Jessica X's shit, and if y'all think I'm full of shit, y'all go in there and basically tell me where, how, and where I'm full of shit. The video's up, it can definitely be seen. You know, it is what it is. But my question, here's my overall view of the whole video, and this either happened or didn't happen. We got to start getting to a place where women start checking other women for dumb shit, because at the end of the day, this is black women's brain. You know, this black, like, see, black men, that's one thing that people don't understand. Folks look at black men and black women as two different entities. This is why women don't have an issue with picking the best of your men or the most economical of your men off, because they don't really even see those men as belonging to you, because our women have done a very good job at basically saying that we don't fuck with these niggas anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same, and so the reality is, and again, I'm generalizing here. This has nothing to do with her, with Daniel personally or anything like that. I'm just saying that, you know, when you know the issue, and it's like BGS has gone through it, and I mean, we know these conversations have been had. So yeah, I'm gonna hold you to a better standard because these conversations have been had. So I mean, you know, so I know, you know. So when you hear some shit like that, like the shit she was talking, I'm not saying you supposed to G check her, but you supposed to. Jessica did exactly that. She offered a counterpoint, and what did she do? Oh, it don't matter. It's all black men. That makes all y'all look goofy. I don't understand what people don't understand about that. People do not understand. Like, take Cardi B for example. I say, and obviously, look, Danielle doesn't support Cardi B, so I'm just now I'm flipping into something else. I say Cardi B ain't black. People are like, oh, black women. Yes, she is. Blah blah. Okay, so everything she does, guess what? The Latins can just charge that off. But she Dominican, they black anyway. And then y'all accept all the negatives for what? Fast food attention. And my point is, the reason why I'm merging that is because it happens in the same way. It's this like silent but consent. And that's one reason why Jessica kind of gets a little bit more rope with certain folks, because Jessica will be that person. She's at least showed how you can diplomatically check shit. Now when the shit gets heated, because it did, shout out to you know, Master Teacher, they start calling her pick me, start attacking her. It shows you what women will do when women break out of that mold. Now, for y'all telling me in the chat that Danica and fucking you know, Jessica X having a conversation right now. I mean, I've known Danica from Facebook. So everybody always tries to rebrand. It's like Kamala Harris. People trying to rebrand people. For the most part, you gotta listen to her for a long time before you really catch her saying something slick. So, but she don't really say nothing slick, but she say it's like
It's very
it's
passive.
something about her because the one thing I've never seen is I've never seen her get into it. I've never seen her say something to the point where women get mad at her. And I'm gonna tell you,
Mm-hmm.
I always look at somebody suspect when if women ain't really tripping on you, if ain't no sector of women is tripping on you at all, that is a telltale sign. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a pick me. Even Art Kathy, who has done some questionable things, like not questionable things, but Art Kathy, who she'll talk that shit. Another Atlanta person,
Mm-hmm.
you see, she going at it from a Pan African standpoint, but with women don't never, because what it tells me is it tells me that folks more acclimate to women being on their team than dudes. And at the end of the day, women having a whole bunch of an individual woman's value is not based on the network she has that are females. It's based on the network of dudes. Not to say dudes as far as who you fucking, but family members and men, because that's where the protection and the provisions come from. They don't come from other bitches. But see, in the black
Mm-hmm.
community, they operate differently on that.
Right. And one thing I do want to piggyback and touch on for a little bit was the home wrecker and the whole thing with Mason. I was like, that also didn't surprise me neither. The way, and then the fact that I guess one of the people that used to follow her said that she even tried to mail her panties to try to give it to the dude. And
Oh
I was
yeah,
like,
and
what in the
before you jump into
hell?
that, I want to say this one. Yeah, that is goofy. I'll say this. I'm gonna go back and torture myself and listen to I'm gonna listen to another hour of that whole clip past where I listened to. And I swear, if that shit ain't misrepresent, if that shit didn't turn out that I did misrepresent what you say, and it turns out is exactly what I thought it was, and I gotta go back through this nails on the chalkboard chick Shayna and listen to that bullshit. I might make a second video. In fact, I know what I'm gonna do. If I do that, I'm doing a play. In fact, that's what I should do. I should just do a play by play on Friday, and just we gonna go through it play by fucking play, and then that way we gonna see if I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm rarely wrong on stuff like that, but if I'm wrong, wrong. But I might do a play by play.
Mm, mm, mm. But yeah, that
Shayna,
was
Shayna really got on my nerves. Yeah, what's up? So go ahead. So you said the home wrecking
but
thing and the male panties.
yeah,
Yeah, that was some
yeah,
truly goofy shit.
and it was. And my thing is that we say this time and time again. I don't want to hear about no infidelity on the woman's part until they freaking get before until they check other women or they other counterparts about this home wrecking shit. I'm like, I was talking to a female friend down because she originally from the west side of Atlanta, and I was telling her, I was like, listen here, you from Simpson Road. I know good and well in here, especially in my younger days when I was, running and cutting through the cut on the west side. I was like, I know how y'all get down. And a lot of times, yeah, let's say if the dude did cheat or one, y'all always took the nigga back. Two, y'all knew who the broad was because Atlanta ain't that big of a city. You stay here long enough, man, you'll run into the same person that you met Monday, and you will run into him Thursday. That's the norm. So my thing is, y'all pretty much know each and everybody. That whole thing, and my thing is that a lot of times y'all be willingly sharing these dudes, and
Well,
y'all don't never, and y'all.
a lot of the red pill rage is not so much about oh, you can't get a bitch and then you mad because you did all this work. That's not true. That's like some straw man bullshit. A lot of the red pill rage comes from a lot of these dudes that they feel guilty about a lot of what the imagine if you're a white person and you believe in white guilt and you find out slavery never happened, but you
Right.
really lived your life with white guilt. Like, I mean, it really bothers you. I'm not saying that that's a thing, but let's say it is. Now imagine if you're a black man and you feel guilty because of all this bullshit these women want to tell you about what another man did and how that's a reflection of you and you should do this, and you basically do stuff that you might not normally do if that information was not presented in the way it was presented, right? And then you
Mm-hmm.
come to find out that a lot of the tracks that you did as far as how to deal with females is really predicated on things that they're fundamentally not true. So what do I mean when I say
Well,
this? When I say this, it goes back to what you just said. Women are sociopathic in how they will do shit. They will do the very shit that they actually cry about men doing. And they will do it
mm-hmm.
at a 10 times level. Donovan Sharp talked about this with Tommy Lauren. He said that only the elite dudes can do the bullshit that most women pull when it comes to like sexual marketplace value. He said not like 80, like maybe 70% of the women are doing what only maybe like 7% of dudes can actually get away with. Maybe let's say 15% of dudes can actually get away with. And because Tommy Lauren only deals with those types of dudes, that's her world. So obviously, from her perspective, it's gonna seem like it's everybody doing it, aka being a trash. But the reality is, if you take it and look at it, see, she was looking at it from a micro perspective. When you look at it from a macro perspective, as to what everybody is doing, you find that a lot of people are not doing that because they can't do it. It's the type of shit
Mm-hmm.
when you learn about paternity fraud, when you learn, like, when you just learn about a lot of the goofy shit that goes on. And even when I went in with, I guess the last episode we talked about with talked about how about women taking birth control and like or women fucking getting pregnant and aborting kids because they did it as a metric to get bigger. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
that. Like I've like and people don't really understand. Like that's why I got real mad about it because it's like y'all got to stop co-signing that shit. Like for real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause that ain't true. That may be true for the motherfuckers you deal with or you fuck with, but from an overarching standpoint, that shit is not true. And really, it's like I've been very diplomatic about that, but it's kind of like me putting a lot more force behind it. And so a lot of times I got real passionate, real annoyed, and I put a lot of see, I ain't never talk about that. You get pregnant and then have an abortion because you really trying to change your body type. See, that's what motherfuckers used to do before they could just get a fat ass, get titties.
Mm-hmm.
Like I ain't never brought that up before. Now maybe that's something that she never considered. But my thing is, there's a lot of stuff that a lot of females do that's really like, like out of this world that they think is perfectly normal because they don't ever get checked on it. And so when people sit there and they and I talked about this in the beginning of this channel, I said you have agitators and then you have co-signers. You have people that they may not do the fuck shit, but they low key co-sign it because they try to give a perspective that'll make sense. Like I can give you many perspectives that'll make sense as to why you break a bitch's nose. I can give
Mm-hmm.
many logical reasons as to why you would do that. Doesn't mean that I'm not gonna get shamed or people gonna tell me it's a bad thing and you never hit women, right? I can give you logical
Mm-hmm.
reasons to doing a lot of things. So giving a logical reason as if folks don't know or have never considered it, no, it's just that's like I said, it's not the first, second, or third time that shit has happened. It's just like this thing about, oh well, we're fat because what dudes like us more like that. Not really. That's like not like the thing about and I get what the point is. The point is, well, because black men want big titties and ass, that they'll take a bigger stomach. Yes, a lot of dusty niggas will do that. But if you're dealing with dudes that actually have options as to the bitches they can fuck, you know they're not doing that. So what it happens, and real talk, when we have these conversations, we're not talking about niggas that the women ain't thinking about. So why even have the argument? Like you think Future's fucking fat? In fact, Future got in trouble because he said no fat bitches allowed.
Mm-hmm.
If you like, so you come on, let's stop and see. That's another thing too. That colorism argument is
Mm-hmm.
really a cover for that, for shit like that too, and that's what a lot of people don't want to say. But anyway, but
Man,
no.
it's Man, it's this week has exposed a lot, man. I just say it like that. Um, a lot has really been done through. Man, I have to say, God bless COVID-19, because I'm like,
COVID
man,
19 was like the low key Trump. COVID like King was like Trump too. Because think about how much stuff that didn't get uncovered because Obama's in the White House versus with Trump in the
man,
White House. How you and COVID is like Trump with a supercharger.
yep, yep, yep,
So
exactly, man. So it's just, it's out here. I tell the fellas, man, you don't even really. I mean, I can tell dudes you don't really have to search for YouTube to try to find out the fuckery. It's dead in your face now. It's cold. It's really overt now, man. And you really, it's like it's no fucks givens out here, man. And my thing
anyway,
is,
oh
it
no,
is
go ahead, go ahead.
dangerous. It is dangerous. What it see, dudes talk about the women when they say women is very like cold, chilling. They don't give a fuck. But I said it's really the dude you have to worry about, especially a productive dude who does not give a shit about what's going around. I'm like, for every dude that's out here who has ambition, who got their shit together, or slash high value man, and he is seeing this shit, man, that's really an L, really on the community.
Well,
I said,
the thing about it is, the truth is, dudes that are on. Here's the thing: what's this is the key thing that's not happening. You still have dudes that are operating. For most women are not operating on even young women. They're operating on I'm gonna get it how I live. I'm getting how I can get it. It don't matter. It ain't nothing matters. Kill,
mm-hmm,
steal, rob, whatever. And that's the mindset they're operating under. A lot of dudes are not operating under that mindset because they got that guilt shit. And so really dudes that are in the know and they don't have to be high value to be like when I say high value, there's genetically high value. Because think about it, you got niggas that are operating like there's dudes that are operating like gigolos are not necessarily high value, but they getting their stuff paid for, right? They're not high
mm-hmm,
value as far as economics. And remember, Ron Wilson, aka sexual, you know, right? So they got the genetic value in that sense, but it's really not even the look. Niggas
mm-hmm,
are the pretty eyes, pretty hair, or whatever. They look good type. The Boris Kojo niggas are dudes that like are Idris Elba dudes, just to put light skin, dark skin in it, right? You got those
mm-hmm,
dudes. Then you got dudes that may not operate. They got the Mr. Goodbar thing going on, meaning they know how to fuck, right? So these are dudes that are not. They could look dusty, but if a chick know that thing knows how to do what it do, they gonna still get slid in. This is why all these see niggas, these women don't want, right? So that's and then you got the mass men, which are money and status men. Where these men, now obviously, all this stuff kind of merges to a certain extent because obviously, if you look at like a report card, it can be like A here, B here, C here. But here's the thing: you can be a money and status man can be something completely independent where it's like I'll give you proof. I'll prove it. Let's say you a dude. Remember them pranks what them white boys used to pull? That where they'll talk to a woman and then the woman will act a
uh-huh.
certain type of way and then the dude will walk to a car that let's say he rented or a Ferrari or something and open it up and then the woman all of a sudden is interested.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
clearly that woman did. And here's the thing: we're not even judging. Clearly, that woman demonstrated that for he didn't Mr. Goodbar thing didn't apply because he didn't know. 'Cause that's something you got to hear from like a credible witness, like another woman. This is why dudes can get passed around in like office environment, right? So that's got to be a
Right.
credible witness, right? So they got that, or you got he didn't pass that pass because that test it's more like an NA. Then he clearly didn't pass the looks category because if it was the looks category, she would have probably gave him a shot. Because listen
Right.
now, especially if you're dealing with sisters. Now, for the most part, depending on non-black women, for the most part, that's true too. Now, still, But obviously he passed the money and status thing, and that's a perfect experiment to illustrate that. Now, obviously, most of the time you don't see that performed with sisters because that's not going to necessarily that will move sisters for the moment. But the thing about it is, sisters are going to look at you like somebody getting fleeced. Like
Right.
other groups of women will say, okay, I gotta fuck them, but how many times do I gotta fuck them to get the bag? Meaning, I may have to fuck them the minimum amount of times, but at least gonna be, but they still got it in their mind. Versus women have actually believe, oh, I might be able to get money from him just to lead him to the pussy without ever giving it. This is why a lot of black women are they love hearing about sugar daddies or sugar babies. They don't have to have fuck. Because a lot of sisters are not really trying to fuck dudes they're not sexually attracted to, regardless of the money. But they'll take the money. And that's something that's very different. Now, I'm not saying other women don't operate like that too, but you see it more prevalent. And this is why a lot
Yeah.
of these dudes, if they got money, they fucking with just other races of motherfuckers.
Well, yep.
That's
Yep. Hmm.
hold
Exactly.
on.
And it's also kind of delusional too that they think I'm like they can run that little game for like a short period of time. But I'm like, especially with the info out here and stuff, man, it's 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 not gonna be often that they'll get a lick, as what they call them, like that.
Yeah, what's up, NBA fan? Yeah, I'm just hanging out a little bit. What's going on in can you hear me?
I
What's
can
going
hear
on
you.
in the chat? Because I don't see everything in the chat. I know y'all not blocking nobody in the chat.
Nah, nobody
Pharaoh,
getting
have you been
blocked.
watching the chat?
I've been looking at the chat.
Huh? Okay.
Yeah, I've been looking at the chat. So far, it's just been about the topic we're talking about.
Okay. 'Cause I don't be looking at the
So
chat. So y'all be silencing, y'all gotta stop that. But anyway, what's up, NBA fan? What you got on what we talk? I'm just really running my mouth right now. Oh yeah, my bad. Dollar Watch, appreciate the super chat. B talking about the what's called having a fire collab with Danielle with or Danica. I mean, um BLS Holding said, what channel did Abram mention? They answered that question. And as far as what Danielle said, like I said, I'll go back and watch the video. I'll go back and torture myself and watch the whole fucking video. I better be wrong in what I said, because I really don't want to hear that chick talk. I really don't. It's just certain folks get on my fucking nerves hearing them speak, and that chick was one of them.
and I'm not gonna lie, when you did that follow up with O'Shea about Danica Marie, O'Shea was actually spot on where he said that a lot of her advice and her commentary is rudimentary. And I've always, when
Well,
I looked at it, I was like, yeah, it was almost on some like, duh, no shit. Like, even though I know she cool and all, but the shit she was giving out, I was like, duh, who doesn't know that? But when you broke it
well,
down to the nice guy, why nice guys should be like bad boys, I was like, you can't try to you can't conflate the two. That doesn't exist. Like, I don't know why they always try to mask a fucking James. What's the dude's name? A James Dean with a fucking what's that preppy little white boy from back in the day? Damn, I can't. But you
I don't
know
know,
the little
Ferris
bad
Bueller.
dude. Yeah, yeah, man. I'm like, you cannot put those two categories
But with
together
that, but
unless
so yeah, and I try not to do the same shit. I don't take a video and then I'm just gonna do the same video. I try to add on something that at least add, because number one, I try not to repeat the same stuff other than what needs to
uh-uh.
happen, and number two, I try to add on to something if I'm gonna do that. And I always shout out where I got the video from because obviously views, but it gives you a window in a lot. What they're giving you a window into their psychology on it. Because even
Hmm.
the fact if you cause okay, there's a couple of ways you can look at it. You can look at it from a business perspective. Okay, you have a list of topics, you gotta do topics, gotta click, you gotta get people to want to engage, all of that. And
Hmm.
part of the rudimentary part is it allows for the looks can be the package, and then and so you don't really interfere with the look of the person versus what's being said. So you keep it rudimentary because that keeps it general. Also, it could be so I don't but I will say, being that I saw her on Facebook, a lot of what she's saying, also Facebook folks are stupid for the most part. I hate to say it like that, but they can't handle anything deeper than rudimentary because their emotions can't take it, and they'll just start attacking the algorithm. And what you're really starting to find is people, a lot of folks on Facebook start realizing YouTube is where it's at, because the problem is Facebook's algorithm does not really lend itself to growth like YouTube could. So now you're really starting to see Facebook. Facebook's never gonna fade out, but you're not. But people are not no longer going to Facebook in order to get like get big like that. Not like
Mm-hmm.
it's just it hasn't been going on for a while. So now you're seeing more and more people branch out. So a lot of people will be, oh, these women are coming over because this is this. Yeah, part of it is that, but part of it is a business move. And I mean, you can see women like Nicole Michelle, Irene Yvette. You can boost up in the algorithm, and she already has a lot of people. I think she has what 70,000. So she could definitely have more
Mm-hmm.
because when you look at who her audience is the hotep niggas, the niggas that just want to look at a bitch just because it is what it is. Look at a black woman that's not gonna tell them they ain't shit. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and any of the niggas that like Cynthia G, would you be surprised how many dudes are the type of like she could probably I know she definitely could probably do some shit with Tommy Sotomayor because she's at least with a dude. I mean, so you have that so it is, and it's money in it, and that's another thing. So I'm not necessarily looking at it from a, oh, you're just trying to get the dudes back on. She got a dude, she got a dude, and it is what it is. But what I would say to that is, if I was on there are questions I would ask her. And see, where is she gonna go with that? Would she go with the, oh, it's the government? Should you go with, well, black men do shit, black women do shit, we just need to magically come together? I want to get some of those questions answered. Do you believe that black women do a lot of stuff today? And some of the stuff she's already addressed. So anyway, what's up, NBA fan?
What's up, Albert? How's it going?
Not much, not much. You know how it
Good.
is. I'm letting some of these NBA games go on. Before before I start looking at it.
Right. Yeah. So about the whole topic and everything like that, I agree with mostly what you guys were saying. But like while I was listening, I had this question, right, about Kevin talks about high value in the like solely from the sense of economics from a man's perspective, right? But I was thinking just like as an all-encompassing SMB or everything that is encompassed with that would make you desirable or high value in a relationship. Like how far off in one aspect of that would you have to be to still retain your like high valueness as a whole? So like let's say a guy was high value economically, but he was like 5'3" and he wasn't like the best looking guy. I don't know if he would be considered high value as a whole, although he meets the bar in one aspect. So I was wondering how far off from average do you think a person could be and still like retain their high valueness as a whole, like in the dating market?
Well, that'd be a good question for Kevin, because Kevin is a six. I will say this: Kevin is a 6 foot dude, so you gotta understand that's the. But obviously, he represents a lot of different dudes. I will say this, in my opinion, because I'm not, certified like Kevin or anything like that. So, in my opinion, because you asked me the question, I would say it depends on the female. It depends on a group of women, because you got to think, if you're dealing with, and again, I'm not saying, look, let me be very clear here. I can tell you as a testament to somebody that dates mostly black women, yes, it is, the reputation is definitely earned that black women are not really trying to date short dudes like that. But this idea where it's a needle in the haystack or some shit like that, that's not true. But then again, you also got to look at how you rate women, because a lot of dudes will say a chick is an 8 when she's really a 5. So it just depends on, but what
Right.
the best question. I'm gonna get to your question, but a question I would want to ask guys, and I want you all to put this in the chat. What is the lowest number of a female that could potentially get your dick hard? What's the lowest number of a female that you would fuck? Not necessarily you would go around like take her on a date or some shit like that, but like if she was at a club and she was feeling you and it ain't like, and you was about to go get a motel right there, and that's as hard as you really had to work. It just naturally came together. Not know you got to do super nigga game or anything like that. What is the lowest number? Now, let me give you an example. Let me qualify that. A chick could be a five. A chick could be, let's say you dealing with a chick with a four with a fat ass. When I say a fat ass, I mean a nice ass, not no fat ass as in cellulite BBW shit. But I mean she got a small waist, but she actually got ass. But maybe her face, she got a gap in her teeth or something like that. And there are women like that. No, and I'm not.
Yeah.
And when I say
No,
gap,
you right.
I don't mean a
I know.
wide gap. I
Like
don't
a
mean like
pretty
oh
gap.
some
I know
she
what you
missing
talking
a
about.
tooth. And
No, I know
so
what you talking about.
and let's say either let's say she may have acne on her face, but if she didn't have the acne, she'd be straight in the face. Or let's say she didn't have acne, but like not no hideous ugly bitch, but like a chick where they got something that pops. And we ain't talk about a relationship. We talk about you having a one night. What's the lowest number? That actually gives you a baseline because that actually lets you know, okay, these are the chicks that if they just throw pussy at niggas, okay, certain niggas they can get. Now dudes ain't gonna keep. Dudes
Hmm.
may leave, wash up and leave, but they can get them there. So that's what I'm talking about. What's the lowest number? What's the lowest
Probably
number?
two
Well,
and
I'm
a half.
asking them in the
If we're
chat
being
now.
honest,
Now going going back to so y'all put that in the chat. Going back to what you said as far as dudes, if you're here's the thing, if you're a dude and you're five, let's say you're 5'3". If you're a dude and you're 5'3", I mean, the reality is if you're look at Kevin's metrics. Kevin said you have to if you're a high value man, you're making
six figures, like
$10,000 a
10K a
month
month.
A
Yeah,
minimum,
month.
and you've
about a month
demonstrated
a
that
year.
part of that demonstrated shit. Part of the reason why he says demonstrate is because when you make it over that amount of time, then you're legit. That's what you're making. Not no, okay, you make it here and then you don't make it here. You hit or miss. You're kind of there, but not really there. You have good years, bad years. The truth is, if you're even in that level, I mean, you can get women. You really can. I mean, we have a lot of times these caricatures of shit, um, but you can. I mean, you can, and you don't even got a really trick to do it either in the United States. So high value men, most high value men ain't 6 foot. Most high value men ain't
Right.
like
Yeah,
five
that's what I'm
eleven,
saying.
5'10", because you got
Yeah.
especially with black men, because with a lot of black men. When I say high value men, let me say hold on, let me qualify that. Most dudes like that are not necessarily going to be dudes making 120 grand a year or 10,000 a month, because unless they get into a certain industry, because they don't have to,
Right, because
and they don't have to. And I'm
what
not
I say
saying that
is
dudes that get a lot of pussy aren't driven, but what I'm saying is a lot of times you'll see that in maybe shorter dudes, because shorter dudes have to kind of make that gap up somewhere,
right,
if that
and
makes any sense.
right, and you could kind of compensate. Like, let's say you were both Kojo, right? You could compensate, or your looks compensate for you being a little less successful in a practical sense, or your contributions to society. Don't act like
This is
you
why
know.
I call it genetic. This is also why I call it genetic currency,
Yeah, so don't
because the
think
thing
about
is, when
balance.
you look at how a woman is looking at it, they're looking at dudes that they are sexually attracted to. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. That's up to them. But dudes that they're not sexually attracted to, they are not making it work as hard. And here's the thing: we're not talking about okay, a dude is ugly, but there's a path for her to fuck. That's not what we're saying. We're saying a dude. There's dudes that are friend zone qualified. There's dudes that she's gonna fuck him tonight qualified. There's dudes that if I need an ego boost, at least I know I could have a good time with him dropping money, and maybe he may eat me out. And then when he does that, if he does that right, I may fuck him. Qualified. But none of those dudes are dudes that a woman would say is ugly and I would never have sex with. And if you don't believe me, who would you think the dudes that these women circle back to when they've been ran through are dudes that they just would never ever have sex with?
Exactly.
Hold on, I
Exactly.
have a question. What was that question again?
The question, NBA, you asked it. I mean, okay, so NBA
Basically, if
asked
you
the
hear me,
question. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. I was just saying, basically, if you're how far away from the average can you be in certain aspects to still be considered high value? So, like, let's say you don't meet the criteria in every sense of the term high value. So like you made
He used
the
the example of you making $10,000 a month, but you 5'3". So let's say you pretty much on point as far as looks and stuff like that, but you 5'3", but you do make 10,000 a month. Would you really be considered a high value man? That's his question.
like, from a dating or relationship perspective.
Okay, okay, okay. Oh my God, I gotta go through this whole spiel again. Number one, if you're making $10,000 a month, how many women are gonna look at you because of your assets? What do women find attractive? Do women find attractive resources? Yes or no?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, not a lot of millionaires or handsome guys unless they're movie stars. Those are probably the only handsome guys you see that are millionaires. We're not
Oh,
predicated
that's a
on
good
look.
point. That's a good point.
We're not predicated on look. See, number one, let's just talk about everything in a nutshell. Sorry, folks, but I'm about to go on my little soapbox for some niggas just
Nah,
because
you
it gets
good.
tough. Number one, a lot of niggas talking about high value. There ain't shit wrong being average. There's something wrong being subpar, but there ain't shit wrong with being average. Most niggas on this planet will be average. Well, I'll actually restate that. Most niggas on this planet better pray to at least be average. Okay? One, you gotta be a little charismatic. Two, you gotta have a fucking personality. Even if you have $1 million, people are gonna be around you but so much because you're fucking curmudgeon or you're boring. So when it goes to this high value thing, yes, you can be high value and be 5'3". You can be high value and 6'4". It just depends on what circles are you around. Let's not be, real fugazi with shit and say you shouldn't be the most attractive guy you can be. No, you can't be a fucking fat ass and think women are gonna swarm you. No, a lot of dudes are just as bad as the women. Get into a gym, work out, actually be a little bit worldly, travel. Have something that the woman can actually admire. And guess what? A lot of dudes out here. Let's just face it. A lot of dudes are talking about the quote unquote pookies and ray rays, high valued men. Y'all really trying to chase the same bitch instead of going to the chicks that admire you. So I'm backing down from my soapbox.
Or what you celebrate is not tolerated.
And it's funny because guess what? If you're celebrated by a bunch of women who are fives to sixes, guess what? Just like a lot of these chicks out here, a lot of niggas don't like to talk about their plot in life either. Just because you get a master's degree does not qualify you for a dime. As a matter of fact, probably I won't even say probably, you really don't want one. I've always said this, an 8 is a 10 that you can afford. You really think that a woman that fucking on that level of beauty alone, is she gonna be loyal to you if a nigga with a bigger check comes along? Be serious.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless she legitimately loves you. But if you but if you're using your finances to get her first, you already started you already started wrong. Yes, you should be the one paying shit. Yes, you should be, but guess what? Your wallet and your sex game should not be the fucking pinnacle of your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you said that because a lot of people hear that from me and they'll be like, "Oh, this short nigga, of course he gonna say some shit like that," you know. So, but the reality is the circle part matters too because oftentimes people are looking from a perspective of their own circle and they don't jump from circle to circle because different circles have different dynamics. Like we all know when we hang around just black folks versus how the dynamic change when it's mixed folks versus how the dynamic changed if you like the one black person and there ain't not even no other non-white folks around. Everybody, like, we know how the dynamics change, and not even from that perspective. Even if you take race out of it and you look at it from a more formal to informal, even country to country, if you've seen that, state to state, because every city, damn the states, every city ain't the same, you know. So it depends. Now, and so a lot of times when I unpack this stuff, it's not so much about telling dudes what do you need to do. It's just about you understanding the reality of what somebody's coming from. Because I look at stuff like qualified, not qualified, and that doesn't mean you're not good enough. That just means a lot of times you can't look at your value in reflection of what somebody else is saying, especially with women. Because dude, that being an insecure dude is a sign of a lack of masculinity. And if you insecure because you're looking for a bitch to tell you who you are, now this is not to say that women can't, be a reflection of some shit you need to work on. Because if you a fat motherfucker and then you see these women ain't fucking with you, then maybe that's telling you something. That's a different thing. But see, that stuff is obvious. Let's be honest. Dudes know what they need to do and they're not deluded by it. This is why a lot of times dudes, because society does not allow men to be deluded into things that they know is not true. So if a man is out of alignment with something, society for the most part is going to let him know in his own personal world, and that's for real true with black men. So we already know. So as a dude, there is no reason. Like even when it comes to the gym and stuff like that, I mean, if you're not going to the gym, you know why you're not going. And it's very rare you're going to see a lot of dudes that are fat. But here's the thing, if you don't understand about the manosphere, it's very rare. They like to project this straw man argument of this dusty, lame dude that's just crying about women. But the reality is, if a dude knows he's fat and he can't make that up, like, it's a difference between, let's say, a dude that he knows he's fat, but he know at the end of the day, he get a bitch in bed and he tearing that thing up and the bitch is hooked for life. You dude knows what that is, knows he's that person, versus a dude that knows he can't close that gap like that and he's fat. He's not gonna, the dude that can't close that gap like that is not necessarily gonna be on social media talking about all these bitches, what they want, what they don't want. No, that dude is more likely to get with a female that's more in alignment with what he can get. And that'll be the dude. Hell, you got skinny niggas. You got skinny niggas because how much money they make. They'll deal with a fat bitch. And I ain't talking about no Jill Scott fat chick where at least you got some kind of dignity. I'm talking about Lizzo. And they will actually argue with you as to why that's the right thing. They will argue with you like that. They're perfectly happy about that.
Lizzo looks decent in the face though, honestly.
But at least dudes like
I'm back once again. See, that's your fucking problem.
Lizzo, yeah, I didn't even know how to respond to that.
See, that's that bullshit right there. That's the fucking reason why, black man. Nobody
just playing.
Oh shit! You done got y'all all started.
You was serious as a motherfucker with that, boy. And back out of that shit now.
Nah, yeah, he's trying to pull it. I'm just playing.
You done got y'all all started.
Oh my god.
He tried to run away from the back door. He had a couple of officers got the back covered. Like, damn.
Oh my god.
In the verse 48.
By the grace of God and by the power of grace, all niggas ain't shit when it comes to that figure of women. I swear to every goddamn thing walking on terra firma. This is the reason why I do not respect the opinion of black men whenever eating women. This is the fucking I have my best friends of 25 years who will swear a chick, as long as she got a fat ass and she can have fucking stars and legions over her fucking body, she's a fucking ape.
He had to slide it in.
Hey, at least it proves one thing: black men can't be incels.
Yes, they can. It's just that even they be like hesitant to fuck up in that bad.
Let me try to help him out. Let me see if I'm gonna fuck up the same way. I'm not gonna lie though. When I was on the stream yesterday, and I was walking through Walmart, and so I'm sitting there running my mouth, through my mask. And I saw a picture of Janelle Monáe, magazine, stuff like that, while I was checking out. I was like, oh, that shit look good. I was like, damn.
She's not.
But Janelle,
she's not like, she's like a 6 or 7, right? She's in shape. Like, You know what I'm saying? Like she's
Yeah.
fine.
Find
Oh,
out
mother.
Janelle Monae, Janelle Monae pregnant by boy. What you find out Janelle Monae a home wrecker? Like,
Man,
bitch, I
oh,
knew it.
Oh my God. See, God damn it, man. That should upset me.
Like, dude, what gynocentric ghost possessed your ass to say that? Look, I'm gonna tell you, this nigga think he a red pill. I can take over that nigga for 5 seconds. Watch. Oh, I think Lizzo cute in the fact.
Lizzo, what? I mean, this motherfucker probably have this motherfucker probably do foreplay with cake with a 12-piece KFC with
I mean, Lizzo is 5. You gotta realize Lizzo is 5'10". That's a big bitch.
oh shit, she's
Lizzo,
that's
Lizzo,
deep.
Like,
She
people
the
man,
don't
same height.
realize that.
Damn, she the same height as
Yeah,
me.
yeah, I was.
Lizzo,
That's
you
a
know,
lineman.
Lizzo looks like Big Van Vader. Yeah, the only thing cute about her is when she leaves. Man, that was a beautiful exit, man. I swear to God. Like, what the fuck, man? She runs herself out just to be a fucking overhead cover during picnics. You
Yeah, you
know,
know the thing
So
the
Lizzo's
thing
about
kills
to
me
tear down
about
the
Janelle
that
Monae.
bitch
You
look
know what
like
kills me?
that bitch look like a substitute clown.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about it is, and you got to really ask yourself when you're that tall. Like, obviously, if you're a dude, that's different. But when you're a female, you that tall and you that big, that man, that's an A for effort. Like, you got to try for that shit. Like, that's not something that like, don't tell me nobody big bone. No, 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 no. It's crazy, man, because you know she could pay for lipo. You know she could pay to get that shit reworked if she really wanted to. And shit, shout out to what's her
She,
name? The bitch that
she,
made Hello. You know what I'm
Adele,
talking about? No, she got
Adele.
black. Yeah, first time I saw a white chick get a black dude and lose weight. Now I'm playing. I had to say that.
She'll do the Monique route. She'll play this BBW game for a little bit, and then she gonna fuck around, get that lipo, and guess
See,
what?
lipo is the same shit for these bitches. You're in fucking the music business. You know how many fucking personal trainers and fucking nutritionists you can hire? Lazy bitch.
Yeah, that's true.
I, I got blocked.
Like you know what our
I
you know what our tramp stamp says on our back? It says Maytag. On the
But you know
fucking
what? To be fair to NBA fan, I think that's who said that. There's been NFL players that said that Lizzo could get it. And no, NFL players, NFL players, NFL players, NFL players, NBA players ain't gonna wild out like that. But NFL players have said that.
Yeah,
Like,
people.
man.
so
Let me ask you something. Are athletes a parameter for intellect?
No,
I think they're a parameter for
Well, how many
ideal.
times have I told people if you're not listening to stupid motherfucker? Oh, Lizzo could get it. You mean Lizzo could get drafted? Man, she'd be a hell of a nose tackle.
y'all gonna change that Lizzo can get it versus Lizzo can take it, because that's what's gonna happen. You know,
Man,
I
man, she
mean,
looked
remember the original Friday, and remember with Smokey, not that damn thing. You remember that music? Now imagine that
Hmm.
chick was 5'10",
Hmm.
and Smokey looking up, like as she keep on getting
Man,
up and up and up,
You
and you
gotta,
see that shadow.
you gotta look at that. She's 2 inches away from being 6 foot. How do you know how much you had to eat to create that much volume? Like,
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
true.
people would
like
say that we're shaming her body image.
you
People would say,
goddamn
"Well,
right, I'm saying.
we ain't talking shit about them fat white bitches that Lil Wayne
Because
keep fucking." That's what they'd say.
because guess what?
Mm.
We're a drug addict, so we don't care. We don't
But you know
listen
what?
to
Even Adele. But here's the thing with Lizzo. Nobody, like, cause nobody went out of their way to beat up Monique and shit. Here's the thing. It's not about body image. It's that, like, first of all, any chick. There was like some white girls that were twerking, like they weren't even fat. They were twerking at Major League Baseball game, like the damn, oh god, I can't believe what the finals of Major League. Like, I'm getting retarded, but you know what I'm saying. They
World
were
Series.
twerking. Yeah, the World Series. They was twerking. That's how you know I don't watch baseball.
Niggas
Black
don't
men
know.
in baseball. They were
Yeah.
twerking. They were twerking, and then they got shamed for that. So the thing about it is, people always if she was not fat, she wouldn't be shamed. Well, thoughts get shamed all the fucking time. What are you talking about? Like, and the thing about it is, what you see nowadays is you see that women identify with people, that's enough. So they feel like you're attacking them when you're attacking the goofy shit other people do. This is why people let shit Cardi B do go. This is why people always want to defend Megan Thee Stallion. Ain't nobody talk about the fact Megan Thee Stallion ain't making no fucking money. Megan Thee Stallion generated a lot of money, but she getting played because of contract that her and her
Oh
mama
yeah, she had a
signed.
shitty fucking contract at the beginning. I think they got her out of it though, right?
Well, we'll see. But the thing is, her and her mama, it was her that looked at it. Her mama looked at it. So, and I could tell that dude didn't shove no bullshit down her throat. She
Yeah,
she
but
thought
that
she
was
she 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 was just too stupid to get a lawyer.
yeah, I mean, she definitely knew nothing about the music industry though, or she didn't think she had any potential if she signed that contract though.
Yeah, and
It was
people will try to
horrible.
compare her to
Like,
like Cardi B, and it's not the same situation. Cardi B situation was more like Drake because Cardi B already had the following. So they had to kind of
mhm.
approach her differently because
Oh
she already
yeah,
knew it.
Yeah.
Versus, and now what you're trying to see is she's trying to kind of wreck. Anyway, my point is, I don't know what my point is what there, but
Hey,
yeah,
hey, can I
like
say
I
something
was,
real quick, Ed?
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Man, you said an interesting point on one of your streams a while back. You was like people talking about how much you make, but it really depends on what your geographical location is. Like you could make 100,000 in California, and that's not no money versus making it in Missouri somewhere. So if brothers want a high value woman or beautiful woman, we call them 8, 9, 10. All you got to do is go somewhere where your money exceed the medium income. Now, if you really a regular guy, average, and you want an above average woman, and you only make 40, 50,000, all you gotta do is take your tail to another country where you dealing with pesos or dealing with another type of money system where your money exceeds what the medium income is, and you're gonna
Well,
have a beautiful woman.
well,
no,
I'm glad you said that, but I'm gonna take that in the same
no.
direction. But hold on. But rather than us getting bogged down on that, I'm gonna take the one part that he said and kind of add to it in a different way than what I've said before. I've said this before, but not really. The advantage that men have over women today, especially black men, and the gap is even wider with black men, is like a black man. A lot of black men think an 8 is really a 6. But here's the thing: if you believe, like, remember what I talk about entitlement. Entitlement, the difference, when it comes to happiness, think of it like a little row. You got entitlement on the right side, and then you got gratitude on the left side, and then you got in the middle. The more in gratitude you are, and here's the thing: you could be in third world poor and be in gratitude. So if you're in the United States, you're in a better position than you might be in other places. That's just facts. So the more in gratitude you are, the more closer to happiness you are. The more entitled you are, the furthest away. This is why people always having these mental issues and stuff like that. As a black man, one of the advantages that we have is a lot of black men think like sixes or eights. It doesn't matter what people think about that. If you believe that, then you're gonna have gratitude if that's what you can consistently get. It doesn't matter if you're in a particular area and you don't know no better. At the end of the day, you have gratitude. So when you talk about going to certain places, the thing about it is most black men just want a chick to be cute in the face, either have one thing that pops. Everything else is like a B, cute in the face, and one thing that pops, either ass, depending on what the dude is, and then the bitch know how to shut the fuck up and act like she got some goddamn sense. Like for the most part, like at least 80% rate. Like, and we're even talking about cooperation. Like, it's really not a lot black men are asking for. So it doesn't take a lot to make black men happy. This is why all these other women can, because they're like the dudes. Y'all, you asking for a D plus. The dudes that I deal with is for white men, white women, men, Hispanic women are asking for the Hispanic men are asking for a fucking like B plus or A minus. Oh, I can easily do what the fuck I need to do with you and be good. And that opens them up to a greater market. So my overall point is, when it comes to economics, um, most people don't live in California. Like LA. Most people don't live in Miami. Most people don't live in New York. So your frame of reference, even if your frame of reference as far as what a beautiful woman is going to be bent. Versus you got a lot of these females that they act like all of them deserve an Idris Elba. Well, you're just setting yourself up to just be fucking mad. You setting yourself up to be mad. But most dudes are not necessarily looking for a Kerry Washington.
That's
Most
true.
dudes don't necessarily need that. They don't, and you can see it in how what they say they want. So when dudes in the manosphere talk about they want an 8, 9, like a 6, like a 7, an upgradable 7. Really, an upgradable 7 is really an upgradable 5.5. That a lot of dudes are really talking about.
In the standards of the world, yup.
And I didn't realize that until I started asking BGS because I've been told I have high standards, and I don't think I have high standards. When I actually show you the pictures of, if I show you like Instagram, like women on like a website or Instagram, as far as okay, this is a good model for what I want. Do a lot of dudes? Oh damn, okay, that's not that. That's not really. They're not ugly, but these are like around the way girls. But versus what people think I mean. Versus when BGS, the bitches I think are like 8s, be like 6s according to BGS's fucking scale. Now, obviously he's in LA, but I
Yeah,
didn't
you know that.
realize that because I know I said, damn, I thought I have high standards and bitch, you saying ain't shit. So I was like, damn.
He's in California though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I
that's where
mean,
all the pretty people
you gotta
located, right?
realize when you tell brothers they need to go out of the country. Number one, let's take facts. You're not getting top flight women out of the country if you're a foreigner. Very rare that it happens. What a lot of these niggas already doing, you getting the bottom of the barrel bitches that nobody's fucking with, and you trying to give them a fuck. That's even worse than what the fuck you doing in America. How you
Well,
gonna get
uh,
in the basement?
No,
well, one thing it depends. It depends on who you are, because the thing is, there is a novelty. That's even true in the United States. Like if a European dude comes here, they're gonna have the novelty alone is gonna get him an artificial advantage. Now, if you're talking about, so it just depends on who you are. Like if you're somebody where, here's the thing, this is what people don't really talk about. Black men are not going, like, you do have white men that are weirdo white dudes, fat white dudes, old white dudes. They're old, they're out. They operating on retirement, maybe not necessarily a whole bunch of money. And then they go to these places like Angeles City and stuff like that. Yes, they can still do that. That shit used to be a lot more prevalent back then, back in the day. Now it's not. It still happens, but it's not as much because the world is a little bit smaller. But black men that overseas don't necessarily fit that same profile. Like the black men that go overseas are not incel black men that just don't want to go. Like a lot of people think that porch monkey style black men that were raised, like we all know what porch monkeys is. Those type of dudes are the niggas that are going overseas. That's
Yeah,
not
and that's
true.
the
But
top 6%, right?
yeah, I'm not necessarily saying like the top percent of dudes are going overseas, but
So
but
like
when
the
you understand
highest,
that
like
only
the
six
top
percent of
echelon.
dudes have a passport, then you
Yeah,
understand and you know how much it costs to go. Then most dudes are not just going overseas for bitches. Now I will give
I
you this,
mean,
Charles. If you just going overseas and the only reason is for bitches, then okay, that might be a little bit
yeah,
more likely.
you got to think about it. A lot of dudes going to the Dominican Republic and places like that. It doesn't cost much to go to the DR.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
DR is an exception, so that's where you be.
it's not
Yeah,
a lot of. I mean, Jamaica. It's not a lot to go to a lot of these island countries. It's not. So
yeah.
you already carrying a sim. You got to think about it. You really come black men hate to admit this, but it's true. You come from a sim culture. You come from an overall sim culture, and you're taking that culture over there to chicks that are patriarchal. And the first chicks you meet are not going to be the high class chicks. Sorry, that doesn't work that way.
well, as far as some of the islands, that's definitely true, and that especially Dominican, because it is, especially if you're in the Northeast, it's very cheap to get to the DR, and you can see it as how it's been kind of constructed. But overall, most black men are not necessarily going to the DR like that, so it just depends. This see, people kind of blow up the vacation Negro to be a little bit bigger than what it actually is, in my opinion. I will say that You know, because you got a lot of dudes that they don't have an issue dealing with women in the United States, but they just want to branch out. It's just, I think it's too much. I'm not saying that you're anti-traveling, Charles. Or that's what you're saying. Because obviously you've been in the military, so you've been in places. But I think it's too much fear in a lot of black folks in general to get outside their comfort zone in a lot of different things. And for some reason, with this, it manifests a lot. Like, because at the end of the day, dudes need to travel regardless. Even if I say you ain't not getting pussy, should you travel? Yes, there's a lot of
They
a lot
need
of
to
other reasons
travel.
to travel.
They need to travel for the sake of actually having experience. But when you're
Exactly.
traveling for pussy, you already limit your learning experience.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
there's
not
nowhere that
saying
I would go.
go get your
There,
pussy, but guess what? When you
there.
travel just for that, you're limiting your learning experience of becoming a worldly man.
And there's nobody that I deal with. There's nobody I deal with that travel that's ever really truly traveled just for pussy. Now maybe, and it's very few that the prime reason they did that was because of that. Usually it's
What can
other
I say, sir?
stuff, and then that's a byproduct.
I thought the same way, but I got 4 friends, 2 white and 2 black, and all 4 of them had terrible experiences with women in the United States. On average, a lot of them short and a lot of them chubby. All 4 of them went to the Philippines and got wives here that they could never get if they stayed here. And I'm telling you, they got beautiful wives who
Well,
doing
yeah, well,
everything.
I've seen that too, but
I
it's a
mean,
novelty, yeah. But um, no, I'm not saying you're wrong with that either. But I think a lot of people like to make things binary, and at the end, and here's the thing: here's what I would tell anybody when it comes to traveling. Look, you gonna have to make this decision for yourself. But it's like traveling is a lot like, I know it's not, but in the mindset of like the focus, it's like going into business or being an entrepreneur. You gotta do this for you. You can't be like saying, well, other people told me to do it or my person didn't help me. The end of the day, you gotta do it for you first. And be cool with that. Otherwise, you're just gonna quit and go back to what you know. Because a lot of people gonna tell you the same motherfuckers are telling you what they think and why it ain't gonna work. Will be the same motherfuckers that want to get put on once it does work. And usually, when it's something like Forex or something that's like really trendy, what it is people trying to do shit easy and they trying to get over, and then they got caught up in the trend shit of trying to get over easy. But they not really interested in doing the work, which is why a lot of people get sold. Not Forex works, but the thing is, most people are not going to make money in Forex because most people are going into Forex for a bullshit reason. It's another form of gambling for most people. And then they're just gonna give their money away. And that's not so much the people, the creators' fault at all. That's the mindset that people go into it with, and that's on them. But they don't realize that. And the same thing going overseas. When you go overseas, especially nowadays, the world is getting smaller. So this idea, like I always say this, even if you go into a brothel, even if you go into which a lot of strip clubs, there's very few strip clubs in certain places. Not necessarily depending on the country, but like in the Philippines, there's very few strip clubs. It's just gonna be you can't buy the bitch, like that, But what people don't know is those women are not obligated to go with you. Like, so they can say no, and people don't really understand that, so they assume that just because you go over there, oh, them niggas, they can just buy a bitch and play. But no, that's not how it always is. And you gotta be over there to really understand, because you got bitches that do shit part-time sometimes, where they don't really do it like that, but they will because they know you got it. It's almost like when you buy something. And it's the same thing when people come over here, like in the United States. And that's another thing too. People will go overseas and act like the same dynamics overseas don't operate here, as if like we don't do the same thing here that we're doing. That, like, as far as the women don't do the same thing here that goes on overseas. And what you're starting to see is more so and more so that stuff happens over here more than what people really want to think. It just manifests in different ways. Like you can't tell, like this. Remember a couple months ago, like maybe 5 months ago, women, you would hear women say, "Oh, well, these third world women, they ain't got nothing, so they gonna do that. They hoarders, say this." Yeah, how many women are dancing to that WAP video and celebrating that as empowerment?
that's true. I think the biggest difference is like the money it costs. Like when you're a regular guy over here, you can operate like a millionaire overseas.
Yeah, depends where you go, but yeah.
Yeah, it does, and that's why you need blogs and videos to kind of break that stuff down a little bit more. Because I hate to use the term millionaire, because like I will say this: when you go to like Manila or some of these cities, it's going to be less expensive, so you're going to be able to do things that you might not be able to. It's not so much you might not be able to do in the United States, but it is a cost of living difference, and it does make the difference because even though the way labor is, the way construction is, what stuff costs, like their hotels may cost less expensive, but the quality is still very good. But it also depends on it's a lot of factors there, and it almost you got to be there to see it. Also, things like getting boats and stuff, putting your money together. But also, people sometimes have a different mindset when they're over there because kind of like what happens in Vegas, stay in Vegas. So dudes are gonna have a different mindset than when they are here. Like it's not,
That's
So
true.
it and that's another reason why you should go over there because you can kind of take some of the mindsets overseas and bring it back here and you'll have a different perspective, and that's the best value I tell people to have of it. And the reason we talk about pussy all the time is because we know that's what you niggas want, and that's what's gonna make you niggas watch. And hey, that is what it is. That's
So
really
that's
why
true
we
too.
do it. It ain't because that's the only thing that's offered. And dudes kind of misread that is, oh, that's the only thing y'all talking about. No, that's not. But whatever. You see what else?
Yeah, and maybe over there when adding up the components or factoring in the components that make a high value man, it's used more physical over here, which could be advantageous to the people who want to go over there for women.
That's true. And like those women over there, like Manila over there in the Philippines and all them places, they value other things as sex. Like they consider you being a chubby man as a sign of wealth. You know what I'm saying? Over here, you just a fat
Yeah,
nigga.
Well,
So I mean,
I can tell you right now, like when women, I mean, you gotta remember, you're dealing with women in different classes and stuff like that when it comes to like, the Philippines. So it depends. So it depends, but them chicks ain't trying to fuck fat niggas like that unless they have to. I
Yeah.
can tell you, I've spent 7 months in the Philippines, and I can tell you, like if they can get better, they gonna get better. But sometimes they're also looking at getting. They're not. I'm not saying they're desperate to get out of the United States, get out of here. But if they see the option, they might take it, and it's not necessarily they'll take it for them. They might take it for their family because I worked in the call center industry over there, and the thing about it is they have sleeping quarters in the buildings because it's very difficult when you look at traffic and everything to get from one place to the other. And like it's not the same thing here where you could do like they have public transportation, but it's not going to be feasible as far as doing a job like that and stuff like that.
yeah,
So obviously if they and then y'all understand Philippines, they have things they could do here like the nursing game they got on lock, so they might do that. That's not to say that they don't like to do it at all or something like that, but that's factors in it. But I have seen very attractive, but the chubby dude, I'm not trying to unwrite what you saying because I have seen that. I have seen it. Maybe the dude isn't chubby, but he ain't like the most fit dude, and I
right.
have seen them pull. So it is, especially, and it also depends on if you dealing, because then you got to add the whiteness factor, too, to that. So are they necessarily gonna deal with chubby like brothers like that? And there's a difference between fucking them and getting some money on the wop. And and here's the thing: you don't have to fuck. Most of the women I fucked over there in the Philippines, they were not working girls. So I mean, you don't have to do that.
That's true. I
Yeah.
like the word you use, novelty, because I remember back in the late '90s, a lot of these guys from Chicago, they was going out of town like to Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, and they was going to sell drugs, but they was also mainly going to get beautiful women of other races, mainly white, to fuck with because they couldn't mess with those type of women in this demographic over here in Illinois. So I mean, it's a novelty thing as well, like you said.
You're right, and it's a novelty regional. Like West Coast dudes going to the East Coast dudes going to West Coast. What
Yeah.
city you from? That stuff. That's why motherfuckers, nigga, I'm from here. Y'all from the what? Nigga, you heard me? Like people always gaslighting that shit. I remember when I used to tell people I was from Compton because I was born there. Motherfuckers, motherfuckers will. It's funny. It's not a big tick, but it's not enough that you can see. I'm like, wow, okay. So motherfuckers are goofy like that. So who knows what makes people buy? Uh,
Yeah.
but that's another thing too. Is a lot of times people look at what's right and look at what people it gets to get people to buy. And sometimes like now that Charles is here, like I was talking earlier in the panel, we were talking about like a dude by the name of Gabe. He's associated with Nicole Michelle, and he was roasting April Mason because April Mason selling that lingerie. He was showing some pictures. I was like, God damn, this chick is naked for real.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm like, you 45 a grandmother selling that. I'm not hating, but it's like, this ain't fit. Remember what I said, the difference between femininity and over sexualization. A lot of black women don't know the difference. Twerking is not feminine. Twerking is you over sexualizing yourself. There's a difference. Well, that video, that WAP video, that's feminine empowerment. No, that's not. That's war culture. There's a difference.
Right. Right.
Anyway.
I like Charles' model because I mean it's a lot of shortcuts that black men could take due to the novelty aspect and the fact that we could generate more money if we want to leave and go to another country and get a woman. But if you
Yeah.
work for yourself, then you can probably do whatever you want to do anywhere. You know what I'm saying? As a black man, like we have way more leverage than our black women. So I mean, I don't
Right.
even think that's a argument.
Yeah.
Well,
But if you
but the thing
no,
is,
go ahead.
you gotta understand. Like most men have no idea what they're walking away from by not, quote unquote, going somewhere else and seeing what's up. Just in the simple fact that if you pay attention to how cheap and how well you can live for a decent rate, that technically means you're dealing with less stress, less BS, all this other kind of stuff. And because of exchange rate and stuff like that, if you want to get some kind of business thing off the ground, it's going to cost you less in most places to actually get that part of it done too. Compared to the fact that if you're doing something in America, it's like way harder to get anything done, bro. Like because think about it. Like think about the amount of expenses that we deal with just to rent someplace. You can if you were to take some of the rents in America and juxtapose that to going somewhere else, you could live a whole month with money left over just by comparing the amount that you spend on rent over here. It's crazy.
Yep,
No,
I agree with that.
absolutely, and one of the gaps that don't really get talked about because we talk about what you can do, but then it's like how do you get to that level to generate the kind of money? Because it's not about it is about generating money, but it's also about you got to look at making money a little bit differently. Like, because you're not going to get a job overseas. It's
Yeah,
not going to
yeah,
work that
yeah.
way. You're
But I
going to
think
have to be entrepreneurial to a certain extent. You're going to have to know how to tap into economies in different ways. And when I
Like
say that,
affiliate
I
marketing
mean,
and stuff.
yeah, but even still, like you're gonna have to start thinking about, okay, I need a certain amount of money in the bank as far as the way you budget. And shout out to Saving Minus Debt because he's very big on this. It's a new channel I found. Saw that. I forget where I saw that. Ramil, yeah, and he talks about how you need to get good at paying your bills um a year in advance. So you have to start thinking about what is the budget. So when Ari said what's needed as far as cost of living, can you multiply that times like a quarter, which is 4 months or three months, or every a third, which is every 4 months, or like 6 months. And you gotta start thinking about that. So how much money you need to budget, have an emergency fund, because when you're overseas, you're not gonna have I mean you'll have access to a lot of stuff, but you gotta be self sufficient.
Yeah,
And this thing to be, oh well, we could teach English. No, we could do this. No, what your value is your ability to tap in the American dollar and get it over there, and your ability to flip. That's where your value is. And so with people, so this is why I kind of rail on forex a little bit, because when people talk about like forex and they try to talk about, well, you can live anywhere, do forex. You be a fool to live to basically be overseas and your primary source of income is forex, unless you're making the kind of money where what I said about a year and stuff like that can easily be done. You'd be a fool to do that, because I wouldn't go and sports gamble and then live overseas. So I know most of them dudes, they got something else going on. That may not be the thing they making the most money in. Forex may still be the most money they making, but they got something that's a lot more stable than that. And that's where the passive income comes up. And some of that can come in the form of affiliate marketing. That can come in the form of a lot of different businesses. Like shout out to Ghana Dan, who's doing like the farming thing out there. Now, if you want to do all of that, you can. Now, people want to talk about what's the internet e-commerce shit is going to be the biggest straight line to actually you getting the profitability needing to sustain some stuff like that. So that's why I talk about it, because that's what I do. But you can also do things like, you don't have to be, you could also be in like a marketing agency. Shout out to Billy Jean. There's other people, Jesse Veal, who does that too. There's other avenues, but you got to find something. A lot of people, they'll be in the trucking industry and they'll build that up and build their money up, and then they'll do the dispatch type of stuff. So
I've worked a
you
load
know,
boy.
but low budget. You got to have passive income and stuff like that. And another thing is bringing that back to the United States. I know people would think this is goofy, but if you're the type of person where your money moves with you, you could go to like this is where living in the South versus living in New York. This is where living in Phoenix, Arizona versus living in California. Hell, live in Alabama or Mississippi, where cost of living is really low and get land. Anywhere that's got strong internet access. This is where you can live 50 miles from the next city because you can always just get to the next airport or something like that. So you can apply anything that we talk about overseas to a certain extent. You can apply here as well if you have the right mindset for it. And that's MOT is very good about talking about stuff like that, about buying land, and you can subdivide that land and own a private. We see these private roads and stuff. People don't think about that like that because they're not trained to think like that.
Yeah.
Debt to income ratio is basically what we're talking about right here.
Yeah. What I would say is you want to get your income kind of black belted out here on an internet basis.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean is that you want to make sure that your income, your online income, is stable in America first. And then once it becomes stable in America and you can project outwards, then you can go overseas and do whatever you want, because at least your income is 100% stable.
That's true.
It goes back to what Edward was saying, but I was just thinking about it in a certain way. You want to know that the way that you make money on the internet is black belted, that there's nothing that's gonna cut it off. Yeah, because the thing is, you don't want your income to fluctuate overseas.
Yeah, and that's easy. That's easy to do. Like that's where looking at things like passive income. That's where having having a good projection as to how much stuff costs and have a good amount of wiggle room with that. This is where getting in the habits of, and shout out to Saving Minds Dad, because he talks about this. He talks about how even if you apply in the United States, things are cheaper if you pay for it a year, even even if you get an apartment. If you can pay an apartment 6 months in advance and pay a whole lease 6 months, you could probably work with them on how much you pay. They could probably get them to shave off $150, like maybe even 200. But people never do that because they never had that kind of money to do that. Or if you look at obviously, because you can't, it's not easy to really own stuff depending on where you're at. So I won't do that. But even if you look at because if you can project that stuff year by year, then you can even cut that stuff even less than you would if you were doing it as is. And that's something that people don't think about. And you can practice that here, but you're changing your mentality. So as far as the passive income piece, it depends. If you actually understand what models are out here, and that's another thing. It's not just you making money, but you need to be having places where your money is working for you. So there's so even if you do a truck driver thing, it's what is your money into? Do you have real estate? Where property owners are dealing with it, and you got a couple of houses or something like that, and you have enough money in the bank that if something happens, something goes down, if something messes up, let's say you got to pay for something to get fixed. I mean, you could do that because the property manager can handle that. But what they're going to do is they're going to need you to pay, unless you see what I'm saying. So the question would be how. So then you got to be very clear where you want to go and what type of disposable income you want and how much money is that going to cost. For example, a lot of people talk about things like, look, I'm not a financial advisor, so take everything what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But so that's your disclaimer. And I recommend y'all listen to Glenn and Cameron if y'all want some real advice. But With that being said, if you got $1 million 401k and you look at how much that's going to pay you versus you live in North Carolina, where I live in Raleigh, and you have like a couple of 150, like 75,000, like or 150, let's say 150 times 246, so 7, so that's 1,000,005, a mil, so let's say six, so you're under a million. You're gonna get six under a million, and then that's gonna be what, 800 a piece now with market values. 808, so 8 times 6 is what, 48. So that's 4,800 right there for the same million. Obviously you have property tax, you have other stuff. We're not even talking about the tax value, the tax credit, depreciation of value, and that's like, if that's, you see what I'm saying? So people, and then keep in mind, it ain't like you got to own $1 million of it outright. Now if you do own it, then you're getting full of that. So it's a lot of stuff that, it's other ways to, and I'm not saying you need $1 million to go overseas, but you got to look at stuff from a retirement standpoint like that. Now if you're not going to do that and you want to look at more affiliate marketing, so you got to have multiple, I'm not saying you got to have a whole bunch of businesses, but when people have multiple businesses, different businesses have different aspects. Some people sell high ticket stuff and they have a passive income thing. Some people have what's called like a sales like ladder, where it's like at the top is a high ticket item, at the bottom is maybe like a low ticket item, in the middle like passive income items. Some of them like $30, some of them like $100 a month. It just depends. And some of them have leverage where you can leverage everybody in your downline. I know that sounds like MLM, but it doesn't always have to be. So it's different. And then not to mention, when you have like a customer base, there's different ways to sell one-time things for it. Even with YouTube, think about it. You got super chats, you got the YouTube AdSense, you have sponsorships. Why do you think O'Shea's doing this African stuff? I mean, he does it because it's on his heart, but it's easier to get sponsorships and stuff like that depending on the audience. So you just gotta, whatever you're doing, you just gotta be, hell, even cooking food, hell, even having a travel blog, video blog. If you overseas, you can have stuff paying for itself. You just got to know what's out here. And I see too many black folks, they limit themselves to like gimmicky shit, Bitcoin, Forex, and it's like they run away from shit like sales and shit like that. So yeah. What the fuck,
Well,
y'all? How many y'all on this bitch?
I appreciate you letting me up, Ed. I appreciate you, panel. I'm finna come down and just listen. I appreciate you, brothers, man.
Absolutely, because I'm gonna hang this up in about 30 minutes, so I appreciate that. So anyway, before we end this real quick, let's talk politics. So the Democratic convention. Any of y'all seen it? I haven't. Not like that.
No,
I've seen clips.
I've seen previews of it.
I haven't seen a second of that shit, bro.
I seen that ending was with Billy Porter. I'll say it like this: Democrats hold this L. Trump 2020.
Yeah, honestly. Everybody I know, and I'm like 18, all the black men and everything that I know, we're all like probably gonna vote for Trump or not vote.
Oh damn, y'all do that. They go find Joe Biden, be like, yo, I swear, if I don't inspire the next motherfucker, I'm locking all you niggas up. For that shit. But no, for real. And the thing about it is, I wish I was a Republican marketer, because there's so much stuff. See, the problem is, these Republicans, you do a lot of stuff. They don't, because they don't want to completely expose everything. But they're definitely like, it's so easy. Yeah, it's the fucking ice cream bullshit, like from Friday. It's a black dude driving it too. He said, "Man, you got some."
Yo, y'all still got that shit, bro? Man, holy.
They like, I should show you the van, because it's a hood van. It look like, they kidnap, like sex trafficking. You get kidnapped in that bitch too. Yeah, I do the ice cream truck. Yeah, we call it the R. Kelly van. We call them sex traffickers the ice cream man. Right? Nah, that'd be fucked up.
Hey, let me get your taco.
Nah, they still had that. And that's not the only street. The last place I was at, they had that. But yeah, man. Wow. I don't know. I really don't know who's gonna win. I'm curious. I'm not gonna lie though. I do want Trump to win, because that day after my birthday is the day before the election. Now I don't know if they're even gonna know who won by the election, but if they know who won and it's Trump, yo, these motherfuckers gonna lose. It's gonna be, boy. It's gonna be a gold rush of white tears.
I believe black men on the low that vote is going. Because what was the black male vote for Trump? Was it like 13%, something like that?
The
Something like
biggest
that.
number I want to see is the how many niggas stayed the fuck home compared to
Yeah,
the
I'm
Obama
gonna be
years. That's the
huge.
real percentage. Because a lot of
Well,
niggas ain't gonna vote for Trump on the
basically, yeah.
That's
Central Park Five shit, but they'll
that's
stay the
what
fuck
I'm
home.
gonna do. I'm staying home for both of these guys, bro. This probably gonna be the first. It's probably gonna be the first actual election that I haven't voted in since I could vote.
You
Yeah, this
can't
is gonna be my first time allowed to vote.
you can't do that though. You don't vote. You pretty much vote for Trump.
Yeah,
Boy, that's the most common, man. I'm like, that's all that they say, man.
Yo,
you should say and. So what? You a
And I
coon?
told her that, so I'd be like, so
I mean, to be honest, if you're in a state like mine, your vote really doesn't matter. We already know what the vote's
Yeah,
gonna
North
look.
Carolina's going red, and that's how I always take
yup,
that out of arguments if it gets too crazy. I'm like, look, man, you ain't look. You know
hey,
what time it is here,
yup,
so we just worry about
yup.
what's going on in the state. And
Uh,
I don't smoke weed or nothing like that, but I'm a fan of legalizing weed for the tax benefits. So that's the only thing I really give a shit about. And unfortunately, they still not talking about that in this state. Everything else, it just is what it is because honestly, like yeah, I mean, so that's how because people kill me with that because I'm like, okay, so what state you in? Yeah, man, I'm in Alabama. So what the fuck you talking about? You already know what time it is. So why you even talking to me about who I'm voting for? Like that's gonna mean
Yeah, bro. Like I'm in California. You think California's going to Trump? Hell no.
no.
right. Y'all
Like
believe
people act
forever.
like tell Texas, man, we might be able to flip that. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Mhm.
Stop. I mean,
Florida going red and
by the
Ohio
way,
going
I'm telling you
red.
right now, Ohio's going to determine who's the next president. That's what I'm telling you.
Ohio going red. I put money on it.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, I think the same thing.
Florida's going red.
Red, I know
Florida's
that.
going red.
Yeah.
But Ohio, the thing about Ohio is the thing that I don't know is I don't know how that these blue collar white dudes just got completely fucked. Are they gonna go? Here's the thing. Okay, so you had John Kasich. And see, this is the thing about people having ADD. I remember because I used to live in Ohio for a couple of years. I lived in the same Portage County, which is where Akron is.
Okay.
And basically, shout out to Ponderosa Steakhouse, rest in peace. But basically, I remember this didn't happen. I was gone by then. I was in North Carolina by then. But I remember when Ted Strickland got beat. He was a very popular governor. He got beat by John Kasich because of the Tea Party wave. This is the wave that Obama lost the House. He lost like the House and the Senate, right? Or I think he at least lost the House. And John Kasich, he's a red, he's a Tea Party. I know he's not. He's not. He's not on that crazy shit to that extent. He was more like John Boehner, maybe a little bit to the right, but not really. And John
Yeah.
Boehner, yeah, those are like really just conservative blue collar motherfuckers, but they don't operate completely outside of that. That's the thing. They want to make a deal. They just want to get everything they can get, but they always want to make a deal. That's not the same as some of these. That's not really the same as somebody that's like a Trump type person necessarily. So John Kasich was in the Democratic convention. They actually had a Republican governor give a Democratic president talk about how Trump ain't shit. And and even he even had to take a swipe at Alexia Cortez because he's like, look, man, I may be over here, but bitch, you still ain't shit. So I'm letting you know who the fuck I am. But long story short is, so those people that voted for Kasich, who probably did vote for Trump, I don't know because Ohio is probably taking a lot of hits, and they're the type of state that's very vulnerable to economic issues like that. So we'll see where they go. Are they going to go team white supremacy? Are they going to be like, I need that check? I don't know, because they could go both ways. Florida, I can kind of tell with Santos with Santos getting elected, Florida ain't gonna give a fuck. Them Hispanics can go white man. They gonna go team white man. They not gonna go
Mhm.
team because you got a lot of Cubans, you got a lot of folks that are Hispanic, but they're Americans. They're not like coming off the border, and a lot of people don't realize a lot of these motherfuckers coming off the border are not necessarily going to Florida. They're more in Texas. So they're not going to like they're going to Florida's not really a border state. So Florida, yeah, they're going red. I'm pretty sure of that. So and
Yeah.
Pennsylvania is yeah, the Democrats are going to get Pennsylvania, they're going to get Michigan, but they have to get that. They have to get that to get back to the starting point. So and they got to get Virginia. They got to get Virginia, Ohio, and Florida, and Pennsylvania, and Michigan back in order to win. So Trump has to lose a lot. That's what people don't understand. And the thing is, if you're a Democrat and you have to spend money in Pennsylvania, that is bad, especially for somebody like Biden, who's supposed to be very, very popular in that part, in Northeast, in that part. So any money that has to be spent is like really a waste of money. As far as let me see. I mean, on the flip side of that is if Trump had to spend money in Texas, but I think Trump operates so much on I don't give a fuck. I really don't think Trump really even gives a fuck if he wins or not. I just think it's more ego than anything. But it's versus I don't know. I don't know.
Man.
But Kamala doesn't get you anything. I'm sorry. I don't know
Nobody,
who
no Democratic candidate really gets you anything, right? Like, who would have gotten them anything?
No, that's not true. Elizabeth Warren would have energized white women a little bit. And she would have been an effective. Elizabeth Warren. Look, I don't like none of these motherfuckers. Let me start there. But Elizabeth Warren would have been more of an effective.
Sanders would have probably gotten the most amount of people in terms of the progressive South. You know,
yeah, I was just talking about like black women because they said they wanted to get like a black woman for the VP spot.
And for what? For what? Unless, like BGS says, unless that was gonna be Michelle, it didn't mean shit. Because the truth is, like, and people say Kamala's the worst pick. No, the fuck she's not. No, she's not. Susan Rice would have been the worst.
Yeah,
Susan Rice would have been the worst because you don't even know who that shit is. And I'm telling you, niggas would have said, you know what? I don't care if Donald Trump comes back with a fucking hood. Fuck this bitch. Because at least he ain't said Snoop. He ain't D-nut Snoop Dogg like that. Fuck this bitch. And I look at her.
Why does Snoop Dogg need to have that happen? Like, doesn't he have enough money to like stand on his square?
But a lot of that is fear. It's like an elephant, and you have a chair that holds him down. Because you would think, okay, Snoop Dogg worth 150 million. Weed is legal, and his brand is that, and he's got investments in that. So he doesn't need fame. Nothing that he can't generate on his own. Snoop Dogg has enough of a name that even if, like, you know who Snoop Dogg should have really took mentorship from. And he would do this because this is a dude that actually helped him in his career in a critical moment. Master P. Shout out to O'Shea for doing that video.
Yeah.
Master P ain't in the media like that. His son kind of is with the reality show, but his son ain't really in the media like that outside of that. They don't need that. And people always act like Nas ain't in the media like that. You don't see Nas on commercials and shit. You still see Snoop Dogg. I'm like, dude, leave that for some of the young motherfuckers. Do you really still need to be on a State Farm fucking commercial? How much are they really paying you that you can't get on your own?
That's what I'm saying. Like, so what is he really sacrificing by standing on his square and defending Kobe and not apologizing?
Well, but it was a knee-jerk reaction. But here's the thing: Nick Cannon went out worse than Snoop Dogg because at least what Snoop Dogg did, Snoop Dogg said, "I got hit. Let me go ahead and do the circuit." Did you see his tall ass on the Red Table Talk, and it's like he's sitting at a kiddie table with Jada Pinkett. I'm like, damn, man. I'm like, at least I'm short. I'm like, and it makes it look so much worse. And I'm like, Jada, like, ain't she older? Ain't he older than like, bitch? And then when you understand what she about now, like that's the bullshit. And it's like, damn, Snoop. But at least he said, all right, let me go in, come back, and let me do it and get it over with. Versus Nick Cannon just went back and forth and back and forth. And I'm like, damn, Nick, it's like you supposed to be pseudo woke. How did you not know Jewish people don't want people you really don't need to fuck with like that? Like, why did you like if any like how did you not know that? And I don't care. Dude's like,
yeah, go ahead. On the pro black stuff, like he could like what's his name? P. Diddy offered him a spot at Revolt. He could have upped and did the same thing and showed his allegiance to black people and was like, oh, we're the real Jews. And he could have displayed that and built something for black people on Revolt instead of just
he wasn't gonna do that because Hold on. I'll say this. Shout out to Roger Report for a $10 super chat. But that says a lot because the thing is, when you do shit like that, you gotta make moves and prepare. He got his notice because Diddy is fuck Diddy. Please, Diddy's on their team 100%. So nothing. They don't say
Yeah,
nothing. He say
I'm
he
just
probably the
saying,
one
like,
person that can get it. But I get what you're saying. But the thing about Nick is Nick should have knew better because of what happened to him on America's Got Talent. So it's not like he didn't know. It's not like he hasn't tested the waters and they kind of let him skate a little bit. Because they let him skate with that. They just put him, he might be crazy tag. And Nick Cannon was actually like, if Nick Cannon was smart, you know what Nick Cannon should have did? If Nick Cannon was smart, he should have got in with Netflix. He should have got in with Netflix and said, look, I'm trying to do a show and I'm trying to take that shit global. And then he should have just basically like got in with somebody and just diversified. So that way, but even still, he shouldn't have did the Jew shit because they just got shit. They just got money in too many different places. That's not on conspiratorial shit. That's just facts. Even shit you can verify with Forbes. That's what it is, so it's not me being, it is what it is. But even still, but they don't think that way because they get wrapped up in the social media aspect of it. And it's like, dude, that's not real power. And it's like, you want to look at anybody, Master P's I'm not even a fan of Master P like that, but he's a good example of somebody that's got hella paper. Hell, David Banner too. Hell, even Little John. Like, if you look at some of the stuff that they do, like Little John makes a lot of video game music. Like he takes it. Like, people don't know that. And see, a lot of these dudes are looking at all of this. Is not about celebrities. Yes, it is, but it's about the type of folks you looking at. You looking at folks that are really getting pimped, and then you trying to be like them. That's why you got motherfuckers like Cardi B, and you got bitches trying to be like her. Basically saying I'm gonna have a Spotify account and OnlyFans at the same time, and these will be the same chicks. Like, think of how many women got ass implants because of Kim K. They didn't go nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's and dudes don't do it like that. But the thing about it is, you got to start looking at who's actually, and what does winning really mean? If Master P wanted to start a TV show or start a channel, he could probably do it. Master P, he knows how to market. He knows how to build a brand. He could start a channel on where he could work with Netflix or somebody to give him the exposure. He could legit do it if he really wanted to. Like, he could do a reality show or some shit like that, just get some revenue. He's smart like that. But and shout out to, even say what you want to about 50 Cent. 50 Cent got a show. 50 Cent has done movies with a lot of actors. They're on their way out. I mean, it doesn't cost that much to do shit. Like a horror movie, you can put the horror movie together for $5 million. And it's just a matter of, and he has the networks, but these dudes, they're so scared. Even Will and Jada, their whole entire production company and helps them make a lot of TV shows ain't nothing but white people that work there. Writers, everything. That's why I always give Will the side eye when he say some of the shit he say, because I'm like, I know what you're doing behind the scenes. It's like they kind of letting you have that shit. Like, people can say what they want to about Tyler Perry, but Tyler Perry got his own shit. He pretty much controls a lot of his distribution more than what any of these other niggas do, other than Will Packer and stuff like that. But none of these folks want to deal with Nollywood or deal with none. They too scared because they scared of being kicked out of the Hollywood sandbox. That's really what that is.
Yeah, I'm just saying, for Snoop Dogg, like, he's got enough money to just buy an island and smoke weed in peace forever, but just stand on your square. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's how you feel, like, there's nothing incentivizing you to go out like that. Nothing.
But a lot of that too that's that gynocracy checking his ass too. But as soon as he said, "My mama," I talked to my mama. So I'm like, I'm like, so what did your mama tell you about what Susan Rice had to say? Oh, well, Obama hired her, so she must be somebody. Like, are you serious? Keep in mind, Snoop Dogg, it's the stupid shit like that. And it's like, dude, like, I knew what was happening as soon as he said that. That was all, you taking a knee. And I mean, really taking a knee. And it's like, don't say shit then. Don't say shit. Because now you start to see what it comes out with Gayle King and all that other stuff. So, about Oprah now having to do her, having to do to Breonna Taylor. And it's, but I'm telling you, the day after, the circular firing squad is gonna happen. Like, that's gonna happen so bad. And the thing about it is, they're gonna try to blame black men, but black men don't give a fuck. Black men just be like, "What you gonna do that you ain't already done?"
Yeah, so I had a question about like, do y'all have any opinions on what Trump is doing and saying he wants to like mass vaccinate the population with the coronavirus vaccine? But if you know anything about the process of how that actually gets certified to be distributed to the population, it takes way more time than when he's alleging it should be out and people should be vaccinated with it.
I mean, Donald Trump is
It
full of
really
shit.
shouldn't.
I don't believe
That,
nothing that comes out of his mouth.
well,
Like
you know,
let's keep that straight. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a Trump fan. Like
let me,
so people.
yeah,
But anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey,
I can go ahead and answer this. To to actually create a vaccine, it usually takes 12 to 18 months.
Right.
That's the usual time frame. Now they're doing this shit with Operation Warp Speed and basically taking down regulative barriers and stuff like that to try and get it done quicker. But even if they do that, you know, uh, Trump is trying to do this Operation Warp Speed thing and basically say we'll have a vaccine by December, this, that, and the other, because he wants this shit to hurry up and go away. The part of it in terms of how he's thinking about it is, look, if I tell people that this shit will be over by December, people will vote for me because they'll think, okay, like, there's only so much more time of this shit that I got to deal with. But the truth of the matter is, it's probably going to take 12 months from the beginning where they started it, which was probably around, let's say, March. So by next March, right? Which is still like what? We're in August, September, October. Yeah. So it's probably going to take like another 7 to 8 months. It's not going to be December. It's not going to
Yeah,
be
I mean,
December.
yeah, I mean, it's just that it's just been an echo chamber from his administration in terms of when the vaccine is going to be distributed. And I mean, he's got to have at least one smart person, at least one doctor who's like, okay, what he's saying is bullshit. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
well,
Don't.
Fauci's doing it. Fauci's saying that he's full of shit because even Fauci said, "Look, if we get a vaccine, you can get a vaccine, but the thing is, you don't know where coronavirus is going to be in its evolutions. So
Mm,
by the time a vaccine actually comes up, you might have uh, a further evolved version of
right, it
coronavirus
might
because
mutate or something.
because it's been in GP for so long that it's going to mutate after a while."
Right, right.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, I look at this like as a freeze frame, and then this is the way I look at people. Oh, I can't travel. Oh my God, I can't leave and get these. I'm like, you dumb motherfucker. Like at the end of the day, this is an opportunity for you to basically get your stuff right, get your stuff on point. So when the stuff comes out of this, you are in the best position because this is a musical chairs moment where everything's being remixed. And when the like people with stuff like OnlyFans, you see so many things like just happen at a very, very rapid pace. It's a beautiful thing, in my opinion. It's a beautiful thing
Yeah.
because not to say this is a good thing. What I'm saying is, folks need to start looking at this as the opportunity it is because, you know, there's opportunity, if you want to take advantage of it. And I try to, because at the end of the day, what you can't control, you can't control. Like I work from home. I got my mask up whenever I do what I need to do to protect myself. And at the end of the day, I try to put myself into making money. If you got a job where you work overtime, if you're lucky enough to be employed, you need to take advantage of that and then get a hustle. You need to get a hustle. That you can make money because I mean,
Yeah.
it's not gonna always be like this, and a lot of people are open to a lot of things that they wouldn't have been open to because they didn't all of a sudden got their job ripped from them and stuff like this. So I know in the home business industry, it's actually an opportunity. I'm not saying to take advantage of people's shit, but everybody's on Zoom. Everybody's like plugged into technology they didn't necessarily have to deal with before. So it's less barriers. So like, even when you look at things like Cash App and shit like that, a lot of shit is getting more normalized. Things like TV apps and shit, a lot of shit that even a couple of years ago seemed like it was just some bullshit is right in your face now. So people are more open to shit. because they got to make something happen, and even in people are buying shit more online. Imagine what the fuck this nigga they got TVs, they got like 55, 65-inch TVs for like $428 brand new out of Walmart. So you got so many stockpile of at Walmart, Best Buy, Target. So you got a lot of like product that has to be moved, has to be sold. Companies are basically falling down. So that stuff is being remixed and sold. Like literally, I had I had a dude go to JC Penney's, and they had stuff that was like $80. He got it for 10, 15, like 5. Because it was the last 3 days of like JC Penney's like sale. They were selling furniture out of that motherfucker. Office furniture. Like it was a damn Goodwill. They said, come get all this shit. So if you're somebody that's in the right position, and see, a lot of people will take stuff like that, and then what they'll do is they'll turn around and sell it on Amazon, keep what they want, stuff like that. Selling on OfferUp, selling on Let Go. Yeah, and people are more plugged into that stuff at a wider demographic as far as ages than they ever were. And so there's opportunity. And I'm very, same thing with the manosphere. I think there's a lot of opportunity with the manosphere as well.
So you think that during this time of a pandemic where like unemployment is higher than normal and everything like that, now is the time where you could cultivate a sales-oriented side hustle?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the thing about it is, well, I'll say this. Well, as far as the schooling thing, that's absolutely correct too, as far as homeschooling. This has never been a greater opportunity to do that as well, because people are now forced to look at opportunities for stuff like that and to see actually what's online and get plugged into that. So yeah, if you're Black and you believe in that, that's another thing. As far as answering your question, as far as the side hustle, the sales hustle, I think when people hear sales, there's a lot of stuff. Like for instance, there's a lot of stuff you could do. That's the thing. People tend to think that means a certain thing, and it doesn't. Even when it comes to like sales, I don't actually sell shit in the sense that what most people would assume sales is. When I actually do what people would perceive as sales, what I'm doing is a process where I make a call. I see if it's a lead, somebody that they either signed up for something, or somebody called them and they said they were interested, or I don't be getting random motherfuckers in a phone book or motherfuckers I know necessarily or something. I don't do that. What I do is I either make a call or I can hit people online, and then you basically, if you call them, you basically give them a thing saying, look, are you interested? Are you not? And if they're not interested, you let them go. If they are interested, you get them some information. They either call you back, you don't. It gets a lot more complicated than that, but not more, a lot more, but it's a little bit more. But the thing is, it's not I don't convince people of shit. When people say, well, what is it about? Well, that's what the information's for. You can't tell me, nope. Are you really serious or are you not? And if they piss me off enough, I just move on. It doesn't matter, because like I said, I have a software thing called Phone Burner that I can leave voicemails just with a click of a button, so I know I'm leaving the same voicemail if they don't. So it's not what people really think it is. Because people think you all here, you trying to sell some fucking shop back or some bullshit like that. I'm not doing that shit. And even with the high ticket items, what a lot of people don't understand about high ticket items is usually people that's going to buy a high ticket item from you have already bought something from you before. So these are people that already know, like, and trust you, and they know kind of where you come in with shit. So people are not just selling cold high ticket items to cold people. And even people like Tony Robbins, even like somebody like Tony Robbins or something like that, they're not selling high ticket item packages to people that don't know them. They're basically selling high ticket items to people that are already in their events. So they've already bought in. Now, obviously everybody's not buying, but at the end of the day, you have that like and trust factor. There's a lot of things that can go into that people don't really talk about because people get intimidated by sales. Now, there is a boiler room version of sales. There is a telemarketing version of sales. That's not what the fuck I do, but it definitely exists, and you definitely make money doing it. But and that's one thing I do need to get serious about, that because there's some people that I've seen that's out there that's really good folks, not just the typical people like Grant Cardone or all that, because I don't even follow Grant Cardone like that, but you got people like Steve Stevens, the dude that was on that show Money Talks for in CBC a long time ago. Like he does sports betting, and he's got a course out there talking about how to be a closer. Now I haven't bought it, but I've been told it's good. And even when you look at like his personality versus how, like Sam Martero's his real name, how he runs his boiler room and stuff. I mean, he does something, but that's not necessarily what I do. But it's good to he knows what he's talking about, and part one of the things that people kill me on is if you can go through the gauntlet of sales and actually come out of that on the other side, that's like a real quick, good rite of passage. And that's something that honestly would translate well into females because the same thing in sales helps you develop the same type of mindsets to not
Yeah,
fall
because
in love with.
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead. No, you go ahead and
because
take it from here.
because you can understand, for example, right? Like, here's the objection. How am I going to overcome this objection? It basically helps you close too. Because the
And
biggest
even in,
yeah,
oh, go
go ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Because the biggest thing a lot of people have trouble with is, okay, here's the objection. What do I do? Most people haven't dealt with objections in terms of counteracting it. So the moment an objection happens, sorry about that, got tongue tied. They basically start falling apart. It's over.
Yeah, and the way, and I'm gonna give you something that nobody's probably ever told you when it comes to objections, and this is very simple. Somebody asks you how do I handle objections? You ask questions.
Yeah.
So if you say, if people say, I don't have the money. If you don't know nothing to say, be like, so why don't you have the money? Or I don't have the money. So if you don't have the money, if you had the money, would you join? Would you get it? Would you buy this product? To establish is that really, because the thing about objections is the goal, and you see me do this when I'm talking to a lot of these chicks. The goal of objections is to get to what the real fucking issue is, because it ain't never the fucking money. If they were if they were a dope fiend, and it ain't the money. So people always gonna say it's the money when they say, or they say you gotta talk to their spouse. The key is you ask questions. So the way you look at an objection is, first of all, if they're giving you objections, if they're not interested, they're just gonna straight up say they're not interested. So an objection is better than them not saying not interested. And when I say objections, you don't do objections at the beginning of a process. You do objections at the end. And here's the thing: most of the time you're going to encounter objections because the other thing you have is called a lay down sale. And lay down sales is where people just say, "This is the greatest thing in the world. I got to get it." That I've had those. Those don't always happen. And a lot of people will sell you that happens all the time in internet marketing. Yes, it can, but you have to position you like in internet marketing. You have to position yourself a certain type of way. So you can't say I can go from no money and then I expect to never talk to somebody, but I'm gonna spend money on leads.
On what?
So when it comes to objections, you gotta attack objections with questions, and nobody never says that. They always act like there's a magical thing you can say, but if you ask them questions, you're gonna get to the bottom of what that really is.
Yeah. Yep.
So how long, like, if you had to, you know what I'm saying, just estimate, like, how long would it take for you to get started and like end up with a consistent working product that could produce a like reliable income, like if they did the right steps?
Let me say it this way. The one thing that folks need to understand, this is how business owners understand it, is people may think business owners are thinking about things from a product standpoint. Like, let's take McDonald's for example, and I'm going to answer the question directly. I need to set the table first. A lot of people think that McDonald's sells hamburgers. McDonald's doesn't sell hamburgers. They really own the real estate that most of these places are on, and they charge licensing fees. So when you are so a hamburger is consumable, but because it's consumable, people are coming back. The point is their main income comes from the licensing fees and the valuation of the real estate more so than it comes from the sales of hamburgers. That's just what brings people to it. So it's the same kind of thing as to when you look back into different products you can sell or stuff you can sell. Me personally, I like digital products because digital products have the greatest profitability. So what does that mean? It's not necessarily ebook software, information, because information not necessarily in a one-time ebook, but in like a membership group. For example, When you look at, I just talked about April Mason. April Mason has a membership group. And so if you have there's people that have Facebook membership groups that they charge $50 per person. 50. So how many people does it take to get 1,000 a month? What, 20?
20.
20 people. So 100 people. So 100 people is $5,000 a month. Now,
Right.
obviously, everybody's not going to stay in forever, so you got to bring people in to make up for people to come out. But obviously, if you built up to that month, then you're doing a growth thing. And another thing about a membership group, I mean, the thing about it is, and that's a digital product. There is no actual product being exchanged, and you're giving information, and you can do that with any number. Have you ever seen an infographic that talk about if you sell X amount of products to get to $1 million or X amount of and it'll be a high number, then it'll go to a low number, but it's a high volume. That's kind of how you have to think.
Yeah.
So
the two main problems for like a group or whatever that you charge a monthly fee or like a Patreon would probably be people like exposure, and then actually providing a product and everything like that people don't say is scammy and more people want to join and everything like that. But I mean, could you really come up with that in like any short amount of time, or what that is it like a year?
Well, you see people. You see, no. You can You can do it right. You can do it immediately because here's the thing. Think about it. We're on YouTube. Like people give me money via super chat just to run my mouth. I don't actually sell anything. It's just me talking. Same thing with O'Shea. I've seen certain YouTubers. I'm not gonna say their name because I'm trying to pocket watch them close $1,000. Just them. I'm talking about like YouTubers that have like the one I'm thinking about that you all know if I say his name. He's done this multiple times, and he didn't know he was doing this. He's closed $1,000 on a stream where he's just talking about a topic that has nothing to do with selling anything. Now he does sell stuff because he has stuff in his thing that he does sell. Glennon Cameron's another example of that. Glennon Cameron, all the stuff he does is based on his personal experience, and he sells courses for like $300, $400, and he'll put them courses on sale for like maybe $150 or something like that. But he has courses up to like $1,500, $2,000. Glennon Cameron, he said this. This is what he has said. So I'm not saying nothing that's like he doesn't want out there. Glennon Cameron has literally had was making $50,000. I think he said $50,000 a month with 10 people, like with 5 people giving him $10,000 a month just to consult, just for his opinion, to hold him on retainer.
Right. But that kind of comes like prerequisites to where people feel like you're validated enough to where they want your opinion, right? So I mean, if you're starting from ground zero, like you're just a piece of shit, right? And you want to get to where you can make money. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think the timetable would be for something like that?
So here's okay, and I really shouldn't even say. I'm gonna answer it. I really shouldn't even say this, but I'm gonna say it because here's the thing. You can give somebody the store, and if it's not, and the thing is, if they don't put all the pieces together, they won't realize how important that piece was. So it's fine. The thing about it, this is what you deal, because I specialize in people that don't know shit, ain't got shit, nothing. So the way you do that is, at least from what I do with the digital stuff I'm talking about. So let's say you're an affiliate, you ain't got no money, ain't never made no money, you don't know shit. What you want to do, and this can take time, is people would say you got to do self-development. So obviously that sounds like, oh, of course, self-development. But the way you do it is if you join somebody's stuff that they have aggregated everything. See, here's the thing about me. I've been doing stuff for a while, so I know where all of the value is. I know the stuff that matters now, that's old. I know the stuff that is new, that actually works. And I know where it is for free. I know who actually gives out the good information. I can show you, if somebody were to sell something for $1,000, I can show you where the exact same information, damn near word for word, is on YouTube. And when I say YouTube, I don't mean they copied it. I mean it's the information. But everybody doesn't know where that is. So the key to what is aggregation. So you look at CNN. CNN doesn't break news. They aggregate the news. Same thing with Fox, same thing with other people. They break some news, but for the most part, they aggregate it. If you take a product, let's say you're somebody that there's a product called Virtual Club Millionaire, right? And Virtual Club Millionaire is a product done by a man by the name of Myron Golden. Myron Golden, he has all the things you're talking about with the credibility and everything. But what he did was he said, I'm gonna create a product that is gonna be rotated around me talking and giving my experience and my knowledge, but people can actually make money on that. So what you can do with a product like that is you can say, okay, it's $30 a month, and then you get $20 out of it. So that means anybody you bring in is $20. So that means 250 gives you $5,000. And there's a reason why he designed it that way. The way you do that is you look on YouTube, and over time, as you learn information that you know works for you and it works, you aggregate that information. And even though it's free information, now you're seen as like not so much the leader, but you know where the information is. So what you want to kind of look at yourself is kind of like what I call the underdog librarian. You're somebody that you're not necessarily saying, I've already gotten to the promised land. And this is something that nobody talks about, by the way. What I'm talking about is something unique to me. I'm not gonna sell you on the fact that I'm already where you want to be. I'm gonna sell you on the fact that I know where the information is that actually it takes to get to point A to point B that nobody else is telling you about. So where everybody else is saying, do Forex, do this, do that, I'm going to tell you to do this, do that. Now, here's the thing. You've seen me. I haven't sold anything yet like that, but most people take what I say seriously, and ain't nobody never seen how much money I make. I've never presented my stuff like that. And you see a lot of people in the manosphere that people really fuck with that they don't necessarily know how much they make and stuff like that. So it shows you that there is an ability to do this based on the strength of what you say in the context of what you're saying it. Now, here's the thing. Everybody's not going to join you. Just like how every bitch is not going to want to fuck you. So you don't do this looking, you don't need a batting average of like 3 out of 10. You just need to do something sustainable that can get you, that positive growth. So it just depends, man. But the reality is you don't have to know everything to have everything. Now, if you're talking about how do you make $10,000, somebody to give you $10,000 a month, okay, yeah, then you need credibility, obviously.
Right.
Even if you need, but I can tell you, you can get somebody to give you $1,000 a month without any real credibility. Not $1,000 a month, but $1,000 one time. But generally, those people are not going to be people that those are not going to be people. Okay, they went and they didn't. If they gave you 1,000, then you were able to get them to give you 100. You see what I'm saying? Like you work
Yeah.
your way up, and that's why people have like what's called sales ladders. They'll have things to where they get somebody to buy something that's maybe $25 a month. So okay, now you've built up your passive income. You're building up with that person, and as they get to know you and see what you have to do, see other people you have to present, they've already made that step to pay more. So they pay more and more, and then it depends on if the product is what they need. So it just depends. And I know a lot of stuff sounds good. And it's like people got to really see it. I'll definitely show some stuff because there's things out there like this. Lori's on here. He knows the
Yeah.
product I'm talking about with that text bot shit. That shit is $100 a pop, and that's Cash App. And
Mhm.
that's by a dude, and the dude that owns that product is a multi-millionaire, and he's a programmer, and he makes products like that. So he presents himself as like the front man in front of the product, and it's interesting how he does it because he's literally he created the income opportunity as a way to fund his ability to program the product. Not so much where he didn't already spend his own money, but it kind of gets his money back a little bit. But at the
Sure.
same time, because he just launched like a bigger version of the product, which is like $500 a pop that you can make, $500 Cash App.
Sure. Sure.
And so it can be done. And if you all actually see the point is nobody's never talked about this because what you all hear is Amazon FBA, Forex, e-commerce. Y'all are hearing something. Amazon FBA is really old new. Bitcoin. This is what you all are typically hearing. Affiliate marketing is not being promoted like it used to be because
Mhm.
nobody wants to really put themselves out there and get the kind of are you a scammer? Are you this? You that? Because you got a lot of haters, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And to be honest, inside the e-commerce game, like there's a couple different things. There's organic traffic and non-organic traffic. Like for example, if you know how to generate traffic, then technically you can do better on a Shopify site if you know how to put everything together. versus non-organic traffic is basically just stuff where people are already going. That's yeah. I mean, for
Yeah.
example,
Uh,
like if you're
hold on
going,
1 second, Lori.
yeah,
Kevin, I would drop the link, but I'm about to Mike V, but I'm about to end it. Like I would definitely drop the link.
yeah,
I'll probably do a stream where I just talk exclusively about this. But yeah, go ahead,
yeah,
Ari, and then we'll wrap it up.
it's one of those things about like, okay, you're gonna have to get the sale versus the sale's gonna come to you. On a place like eBay and stuff like that, there are already people going there. So if you're selling the type of product that they want, they'll hit the buy box and you'll get some money. But the thing is, sometimes if you know how to get your own sales through pay per click or something else like that, sometimes you can make more on a Shopify site if you know how to put everything together. And for most people, to be honest, people that don't have any e-commerce experience, eBay is probably easier to deal with because it's going to lead you to have, you can start a business with zero, like with
Right.
nothing, if you know how to actually run the eBay thing. Versus with Amazon, you're going to need probably a little bit more money to actually get it started because Amazon's policies are different, right? So it just depends. But even then, if you want to start a business with no money on Amazon, you can do it. You just have to MF it, merchant fulfill it, right? But sometimes the reason I tell people not to do Amazon is because Amazon can kind of get a little complicated if you really don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
Mhm. Hey, you went
The
on mute.
the other thing with
yeah,
eBay
my
is
bad. Yeah.
the other thing with eBay is it's easier to scale eBay because once you get out of the probationary period, you can basically make money off of nothing, which is like drop shipping and stuff. As long as you
Yeah,
know how to
and even
put it.
even then, drop shipping is like its own animal. So
Sure,
it's like a different stuff in the merge game. You have you leveraging social media followings a lot now. The new real organic traffic is SEO is kind of harder to do than it used to be. Well,
sure,
it
sure,
is, but it isn't. It just depends. You can't really do it with Google like that, but you can apply those skills if you knew how, like things like YouTube and stuff, or like Instagram as far as hashtagging. If you kind of know how to keyword research, and the name of the game it's a lot of different stuff. It really is. And you guys got to pick what you want to focus on. And that's one of the things that probably I need to start putting out there. Because to me, that's really the straightest line that people can go. It's the straightest line with the minimum amount of risk. Because to be honest with you,
sure.
I can show motherfuckers how to do something. You got $100, you could do something. And when I say $100, I'm not even talking about like they're like that text bot thing. That's $100 one time. And then
Sure.
it's a matter of you getting a get response thing database, which is $15 a month, 30 free for the first 30 days, and then you buying leads. And in real talk, I can show people how to get leads. So there's a website. I'll give you the website. It's called Self Serve Leads. You can get 90-day leads at a
Mhm.
cent a piece. $10, you got 1,000 leads. And
Wow.
then it's just a matter of you picking up the fucking phone. Well, and if you don't want to do the tedious work of picking up the phone, it's selfserveleads.net. You want to do the tedious work of picking up the phone, and these are leads that are basically people that are interested in a biz op. Now, obviously, when you call these people, some of them act stupid. They sign up for a lot of shit, but so they act like they don't know. But if you get out around that, it's pretty much you just write your own ticket, and you get a thing where a software called like Phone Burner. Is other software similar, but Phone Burner is the best. That's 150. I only pay 100 because I got it on sale, but you gotta pay 150 a month normally, and then you just it's an auto dialer. And you can leave voicemails automatically. It's like a CRM, and you just run through it. And see, nobody never says that because the truth is, everybody's anti-phone. Everybody, oh, it's not about the phone. You don't do the phone. So they always tell people about oh, you can just spend this money and traffic comes like magic. It does, but they don't tell you how much money you're gonna have to spend. And they don't tell you how to position yourself. It's just like when people talk about getting into real estate, but they don't mention, oh, you got to actually have houses to really get the real estate you want to get.
Sure.
If people tell me, oh, I don't want to talk to nobody on the phone, then you're gonna need. It's not about the money; it's also about the skill. because you have to pay to know how to advertise. That's what a lot of people don't understand. So you have to, just like how you have to have a certain mindset in order to be able to play poker and gamble and do that for a living, you have to have a certain mindset when it comes to advertising. It's not so much about having a mindset to want to lose money, but you have to understand that you have to invest in actually understanding your market and invest. And so when you understand your market, you can pretty much write your own ticket. Like, I'm gonna say this and then I'm done. Let's take that product I said is $100 a pop. So it's $100 cash out. So if I'm willing, so the question I'll ask somebody that nobody would never ask, that doesn't have this experience: are you willing to spend $50 to make $100? Are you willing to spend $75 to make $100? Well, if you
Yeah.
spend $75 to make $100, then you're writing your own ticket for 25. You spend 50 to make 100, you make writing your own ticket, make 50. Now, now the thing about the Cash App thing, where they're giving you money via Cash App, guess what? That's instant money. So it's not like, okay, I'm spending money, I gotta wait a merchant account, I gotta wait for Amazon to let it go, eBay let it go. So there's like a grace period of like 30 days, or YouTube, there's a grace period like 30 days, 2 weeks before I
Right.
get my money. So I got
Right.
money I'm spending versus money I'm getting. No, it's an instant turnaround. So that money can go back instantly.
Right.
And that's something that didn't exist before. So the thing about it is that actually makes it so it takes it one level less than what it used to be to get access to it, because you would have had to have a certain amount of money in order. So you couldn't just spend 10 like $5,000. You'd have to have about 4,000, because you need to spend 1,000 and you have to spend that to wait to get that other original 1,000 back. So, but see, you have to have things that's going to show you how to think about it in that way. Because what they're going to
Yeah.
tell you in the marketing is they're going to tell you that money just grows on trees and you get it once you spend it, and they don't actually explain like the things you need to keep in mind if you're going to do that. Now, me personally, if I tell somebody they say they ain't got no money for to do none of that, then you pick up the phone. It's $10 gets you 1,000 leads, and 1,000 leads, if you call enough of these people, especially with the price points. Because think about that thing I told you about the virtual club millionaire. I would say, hey, I got this video of this guy. He's going to tell you about quality of life. All you got to do is listen to him for 10 minutes. And then you tell me what you thought. You get back to him. This is another thing black women are very good about this, because they in the church. Tell me about what you thought. Oh, you like them? All right. What if I told you there's a product around that and it's just $30? You get Christian MBA business school. Are you good? And then you show them how to do it. And I don't show them how to do it out of grace of my own heart, because I'm not making money out of what the fuck they do. I show them how to do it because I lump them into something else that I do get leverage into that. So by me helping them to make money, then I can go have them go buy something that may be higher ticket, because I help them make money.
Yeah.
And then they're more likely to refer me to other people that they know. So, and here's the thing: people talk, oh, that's MLM. No, it's not MLM. Because the thing is, you have to build a customer base that you can sell different things to different aspects of the customer base. I don't do MLM. What I'm talking about is affiliate marketing. There is a difference. Most MLMs don't operate with software products. They don't operate with digital products. They have to deal with consumables, because if you're an MLM and you don't deal with a consumable, the government is liable to try to say that you're a fucking scam and you're just moving money around. So a lot of the
Yeah.
MLM, you'll never see, and that's one of the nuances that people don't know. Even though MLMs are not scams, it's just that most people don't know how to work MLMs because they don't teach people how to work MLMs. But anyway, this is
So how
definitely
hard
something
is
that
it?
go ahead.
Where are you going? Yeah, I was just
No, I was
wondering.
about to
So
end it,
like,
but if you got one more question, go ahead.
yeah. So like, how hard is it to get in contact with the distributors, and how much interaction do you have to have with them when doing something like this? The distributors and the people with the products that you're trying to sell to consumers.
Well, it depends. Like, okay, so as far as like distributors, because most distributors are like, that's a more like a network marketing MLM term. If you're growing your team, you got to do that as much as you're growing your team. Now, if you're talking about digital marketing shit, once they join your stuff, like the way that I do it, I have a website that that basically is a training center, and it says do this, do this, do this. I'm not gonna say exactly what I do, but I will say this is something that's similar. Get set up, get set up, quick start, basic training, strategy training, mindset training. So get set up is basically getting you onboarded, all the links you need to talk to me via Telegram, via whatever, so you can get instant access to me, or to when I get ready to access you via text message, stuff like that. So it's not just my phone number, but it's really Telegram. This is this, so other people can access me. then it's so you get onboarded, Facebook group, shit like that. Then you get set up your website, forward your domain. All this is done by video for the most part. So you see video. I have a video for what you need to do and how you need to do it. If you have a question, you can refer to the video that you have a question about, and if it's something that goes into detail, then I can do that. But for the most part, all this stuff is automated, because it's a video for everything. And when it's something new, I make a video about it. And so that's get set up. Then it's quick start. My quick start is based around three things. It's based around you building a list of who you know, not to talk to them immediately necessarily, but if you start to make money, you could talk to them. Now you got something to show them. The other thing is you calling people you don't know. So if people don't want to deal with people they do know, then you deal with people you don't know via the calls, and then how to prospect people via social media. So how to do what we do, but how to trigger those conversations in such a way that you're getting to know people in such a way that you may qualify them, not asking them for a business, but qualifying them, are they even interested in this type of stuff?
Right.
In this type of stuff. And then
Mm.
and all this has videos, all this has training. And then what I do is I have massive bonus trainings and stuff like that. There are some of it is me, most of it is not. Most of it is stuff that I noticed, like 5 mic conversations from people that do make money. There's a podcast, for example, of a guy by the name of Jeffrey Combs. He has type in Jeffrey Combs Gold Mastermind Podomatic. He's been doing a podcast for 20 years, literally. And his stuff, and I bought his products, and a lot of what he says in the products I bought is there. They're just there in pieces, so then there's people that I deal with that they make. Here's the thing: if somebody were to really tell me, and they really act like they had the real money, I would never do this on low ticket thing, but high ticket thing, and they needed to talk to somebody that was really doing really numbers. I got access to those people. But the thing is, I'm taught to qualify those people out, because if that's really what's stopping them from doing it, then they're really just bullshitting me. But my point is, to answer your question, you can make videos and automate stuff in a way that deals with people the way you need to deal with. So the people that's really you dealing with it's no different than what I do with this. Like, so it's not that stuff is, even in MLM, that stuff is automated. But the issue with MLM, this is the issue with MLM. Number one, it depends on what team you join. And again, I'm not talking about MLM, but it depends on what team you join, number one. And number two, a lot of those folks are not going to tell you. They're going to tell you to talk to people you know to death. They're not going to tell you the other parts of it. They're not going to say, if you don't want to talk to people you know, you can also do this where you can make phone calls. You can also do this where you can talk. You can use social media. Now, me personally, I'm more on the phone, and then double back to people you know, because there is value in a warm market if you know how to do it. But people that are brand new are not necessarily going to want to do that because they don't want to be in what they call an NFL club. So this is why people like Forex more. They like Forex more because Forex is an individual thing with just people, and you're just flipping your own money. No people involved. The problem is Forex is not bad, but Forex is no different than sports betting. I don't give a damn what anybody wants to say. It's the same shit. I like fantasy sports and sports betting. It's the same shit. People will try to say, oh, because it's Forex currency and all the money. No, it's the same shit. And the problem, and there is no problem, but Forex is for if you got money, if you want to accelerate your money, then use Forex to put your money to kind of use to basically flip it. That's what it's for. But it's not for you to take money that you work in a job and then you throw it in a Forex hoping you flip money. You might as well go, I won't say do the lottery. No, I won't say that. But you might as well sports bet. At least you enjoy the game more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, see, the thing with MLM is you really got to pay attention to the team that you're joining, like you said, the product, what the product is. Is it a physical? Is it a digital? And you really got to understand a couple things about management and really about the system that the product is using. A lot of people don't take it that deep. They just look at something like, oh, well, this dude told me about Vima. It was really cool.
Yeah, they get caught up in the market.
And, all of a sudden they're in something. And then all of a sudden they realize how hard it is to sell a business like that.
Yeah, so, and I'll say this and I'm going to end it because this is the most probably valuable thing, because a lot of stuff, if it's no context, it's like fluff. This is what you want to look for in anything. You want to look for how much does it cost to get involved, whether that's upfront cost, startup cost, join, whatever. How
Right.
much does it cost to get involved? How much does it cost to promote? How much it costs to stay involved? That's another thing that nobody
Right.
tells you about.
If there's a
Um,
recurring fee, yeah.
yeah. Sometimes it's not because there are products where it's not a recurring fee. And then how much does it cost to promote? Which is now we're getting into tools that you need. Like you're gonna need an autoresponder no matter what you do. Aweber or Get Response. I like Get Response because Get Response also has a squeeze page builder. So get Squeeze Crave Builder alone, you could spend $100 on. You could spend $500 on if you do it one time. You could spend, there's good ones. Power Lead System is a good one, which is $30, $50. But you got that all in two things. So that's $15. You got those two things. It's 30. And another thing with Get Response that I like, the Get Response, you pay per the leads that you have. So the first 1,000 is 15. It goes up. So you can control that versus a lot of Aweber will jump you up to all of a sudden you paying $50 and shit like that. So that's your basically customer relation manager kind of thing, team manager bullshit. So you got then you have other tools that you can get, like if you want another squeeze page builder because you were doing something different, or if you want it like I do with the call to the power leads, which you don't with the phone burner, which you don't need because you can do the stuff manually. But dialing phone shit manually can be tedious versus doing it with a like a thing, software. It makes it so much easier. It's worth it, but everybody doesn't have that money all the time to make you work your way up to that. What else? Oh yeah, and the leads. How much does it cost like to get leads? Calling leads, because leads is cheaper than advertising. So if you're calling leads of people that are generally involved, then you could do that. Another thing is you don't just promote something from a business opportunity standpoint, you promote the actual product as well. So you ask yourself, who are the people that will actually benefit from this product? And if you don't know, then that's going to be a problem, because when people are just sitting there promoting business opportunity, people think there's no value in the product. Versus the people that are necessarily going to buy your product is not going to be the same as the people that necessarily will buy into the business opportunity. Now you can also flip those people into it later on, but those are going to be a different demographic. Now I say to stick with digital products because digital products is just the most profitable. They're the most profitable and they're the cheapest to get into. That's really what it is. Versus if you're dealing with physical shit, most MLMs, like even one of the most popular ones out there right now is Total Life Change. That's what one a whole bunch of black women are doing. That one's that one's $40. But most MLMs, you're gonna
Reginald was in that one. Reginald Stinson was in that one. Shoot, yeah, yeah, that's a while ago.
Yeah, and that's the one that Stormy Wellington is in right now, and she got a Marilyn Negra in there. She got Trina in that shit. Yeah. So
cool.
that one's $40. But most of them are going to be like 300 to 500, sometimes even more. Versus digital products, you can get into digital some of a lot of digital products like Easy One Up, that's $25 to start. And that's $25 one time. The one I was referring to is 100. Most of them are like 50. The ones are recurring because they're digital products. So like they can do things less and the money can more freely move where they need to go. So that membership thing that I said April Mason was doing, imagine if she created an affiliate program around that. That's what Myron Golden does. And you get 250 people to spend $30 a month. You get 200 out of that. All of a sudden, you got $5,000 a month. Or you can do something that you get, $100 a month. 10. Like for instance, there's a product that I'm not going to tell you that. Let's say people want to get lead. Let's say the lead thing I talked about, and one of the things you want to have is more leads than time. So you have 50 leads a day that you can call. If you have 50 leads a day that's coming in every time, then you're pretty much good. There's a product that I have that it's $100 a month, and everybody I get into it, I get $50 a month from it, and they get 1,500 leads a month. It doesn't come in like in 1,500 in one shot. It comes in at and they get name, emails, and phone numbers. So I'll bring somebody in and say, hey, the self-serve lead is there if you want it, if you want to really be cheap. And that's fine. But if you want to do something that's more recurring, get a little bit serious, go ahead and do this, because if you do 2 of these, all of a sudden that's free. So your leads are free, and then you're free up to actually deal with that. And then That's a way to put money in people's pocket in different ways. So with the product is one time, I can back in them into things that are recurring, even though I sold them on that it was one time. Because now I'm selling them on the fact that it's tools, and it's tools that they're gonna need,
Yeah.
and that's affiliate marketing. And here's the thing with the Myron Golden shit, I can say, okay, that I could do the free thing with Jeffrey Combs, but I could also do the thing in there with Myron Golden saying, especially a black man, you know, these can give you all this Christian knowledge. He's like a BGS level. He is. He's a BGS level dude. You type in Myron Golden YouTube and listen to anything he said, and you tell me I'm not lying about that. Saying he's a BGS level dude when it comes to the Bible. He's really um and he's Christian, but he thinks like an agnostic as far as how he can put stuff together. And then I say, this is a dude that's going to give you good mindset development for wealth. This is a $30 a month product. This is also another product you can put people into, and they may quit all your other stuff, but keep that because they like to do $20.
Right.
So you have different product packages that have different strategic places as a way to build that. Some things give you more money quicker. Some things, which puts revenue flow in there. Some things are more passive. I even have a product that, like, you know, it's just $20 a month. But the thing is, it being $20 a month, I only get, well, I get, hold on, I get like $5 for each person I put in, but I get $1 down 12 levels, and it's not a consumable product. So if I get people to get people to get people to get people, I know that sounds like pyramid scheme. It's not. They actually just redid the system, but it's like, it's called a matrix. So it is limits to it. But yeah. So if you got $20 and then you got $20 plus the 15, plus 10 a month, 1,000 leads a month, $15 for your autoresponder, $20 a month. So 20, 35, 45, you can do something. That's
Right.
what digital products can do versus the consumables. But see, nobody never talks about that shit because people are always trying to hustle motherfuckers. But anyway, that's
Sure.
enough for today. I appreciate NBA fan because it gave me the opportunity to talk about a lot of stuff I wouldn't normally talk about. I see that my numbers are at 57, so you motherfuckers said I'm gonna look at the light skinned chick, dark skinned chick, Danica and Jessica X, and I hear this sell shit. But
Yeah.
Wayman Brown said he made a video on network marketing from a black business evaluation perspective, completely unbiased to help bros make an educated decision. I'm not involved. No, I'm not. I mean, and I did Amway. I did Amway when I was 18. I still use the excess energy drink products till this day, because those are good products. But I don't do the business, not involved with the business anyway. I didn't like my team. Because a lot of these things, when I asked, they got all cultish about it. So, because I knew there was, and so I said, "No, fuck this." And also, I wanted to be in a team. I actually wanted to be around more black people. I actually valued that. And not because, well, yeah, but whatever. I sold Cutco, and which I still have that stuff till this day. Cutco is not a network marketing company; they're actually a business that sells knives, and so it is what it is. Dynas Amir is a sales dude. So there's other dudes that are sales dudes. I mean, you'd be surprised. And the thing about it is, if you can, I'm not selling nobody no fucking drink. Like I'll give people the free information. I will give you the free information. You fucking go through it and you do what the fuck you want to do with it. I don't give a fuck. This ain't me trying to sell you nothing right now. I'll let you know when I'm trying to sell you some shit. I'm just saying that if you want to go from point A to point B, it is possible. It's not magic. It ain't, anybody can do it. Any black man can do it. You know, it ain't just some bullshit that people just gas some motherfuckers up. And I was 18 years old too, and I was into this shit even before then. So I'm not telling no shit, no something. And then I'm gonna tell you right now, if you 18 years old, nigga, you are lucky, because it's a lot of shit that was built over time where people. It used to be it was only the network marketing shit. Then the internet came along. So now a lot of these systems are. When I say automated, I don't mean automated in the sense of you do touch it, but you touch it a little bit. You got to look at like what tablets used to cost when they first came out. You know, what Bluetooth. I mean, even fucking AirPods and shit. Like what technology is, where AI stuff is. Man, don't get me started, man. It's so much easier than it used to be, man. Like just to get your phone, for somebody to do an email thing on a phone, on a BlackBerry. That shit, man. Don't get me started on shit. See, these motherfuckers don't know what it was before the fucking iPhone. They really don't. Or the Android. Remember Paris Hilton had that sidekick?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Yeah, bro. Yeah, like it's a lot easier to get things done now
So,
than
Laura,
when
you
we
go
were.
first.
Nah, bro. Like you were saying, it's a lot easier to get things done now, and it's a lot easier to make money on the internet now than when you know when I was kind of getting exposed to this stuff. Even like 10 years ago, there's been like uh, a revolution in terms of how easy things are continuing to get. From the 2000s up to now, things are getting even easier. Don't even talk about how shit was in the 90s. Back then, all you had was like Rexall and Amway and shit like that. So, with their shitty comp plans and whatever. So if you're going to tell me I can make, 50, 60% per sale and still have like more to do, like we didn't have that back then. The margins weren't nearly as big. So, it is what it is, bro.
All right,
These
NBA,
days,
last
yeah.
words.
Oh yeah, I just want to thank everybody on the panel for passing down the knowledge, and I think this was a productive conversation. Yeah, man. Just want to show my gratitude.
No, absolutely. So yeah, I will say this because I know I've been kind of saying that and then not really answering it with some of the stuff I'm gonna put together. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna start putting some stuff together, because I've purposely kept a lot of that shit out of the manosphere because I know how niggas be. Because I want to see a certain way that I could go into it. Because there's actually something my objective is not to fleece motherfuckers for money. I do believe in giving a lot more value than I take in, and I don't mean that because that's just a nice thing to say. Because at the end of or a good kindness of my own heart is because at the end of the day, that's how you get people to give you money over and over and over again. So Amazon did not get. I'm not Amazon, but Amazon didn't get the way they were from taking money from motherfuckers and not giving more value than they get. Same thing with technically Facebook when it comes to advertising versus people want to be there. So the thing that it's actually two things I have in mind, and one thing will definitely give an immediate result, and the other thing will give a really really exponential effect result. And the one thing was that text thing I was talking about, and the other thing was that $20 thing I was talking about. And I think it can do it in such a way that not only it helps the individual first, but it also helps. It can kind of do something in the manosphere which I think can make a lot of stuff happen. It's not necessarily just for the bigger creators, but actually for smaller people, because we got a lot of people that do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, or everybody has a unique value. Because you gotta remember, a lot of y'all young dudes, they're like 18, 21. Y'all have a different access into the YouTube or the algorithms that a lot of the older dudes don't have, because the traffic is so much stronger with folks in that age range. This is why TikTok is what it is. So there, and this is and the thing I've always looked at is I always like to push stuff that, number one, is easy to explain and something that people wouldn't mind. If somebody say no, I'm good with that, it's like, oh look, it's $20, man. So if you tell somebody a whole bunch of stuff, be like, oh yes, this is this, and I'm like, it's just $20. Nobody's gonna get mad at you about $20.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's not like you asking somebody for like 300 and then you're like, man, that's some bullshit. Nobody gonna get mad about $20 or $20 a month. Nobody's gonna get mad about that, and it doesn't. So it doesn't. It's just like when you were a rapper and you need to pay child support, so you go into one of those clubs that allows you to pack a whole bunch of motherfuckers in there, but you can do a couple of songs, but you charge them like $40 or $50, but they really paying to see you do a couple of songs, but they don't care because they ain't paying a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? But they get kind of close to you they otherwise would, and then you sell alcohol, so you get money off of that. We got a couple of places. It's kind of like that. So Yeah. So anyway, I'll talk about this more later on. But anyway, with that being said, I appreciate it. Wayman, I definitely want you to email, like, leave a comment in the comment, because I definitely want to talk to you, because I think this conversation needs to be broached. I'm curious what people want to say about it, because I definitely have a perspective about a lot of these different companies. I think a lot more, like with that TLC shit, a lot of people don't know that Trina's involved in that. A lot of people don't know that fucking Marilyn Negra is involved with that. And if you actually go look at her page, you'll see the signs. Go click around her bio and her page on Instagram. You'll see some of it. A lot of these chicks think they selling shit. Nah, they hustling y'all. It ain't just that tea.
Mhm.
So with that being said, I'm gonna end it. And this is Edward signing off. Peace. Oh, see, look. Hold on,
Oh,
You know, already.
yeah.
Yeah, no, you can hang up, but see that show money shit. Look, man, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm not showing y'all. I'm gonna say this right now, straight up like this, so y'all understand me. I'm not showing y'all a motherfucking thing at all. I'm not showing you no money. I'm not showing you no fucking what I did, because what I do don't mean jack shit. What a lot of people think about it. A lot of people on the YouTube that will show you money and shit. Does that mean you gonna make anything? All them forex motherfuckers that show you how much money they made. Does that have any kind of bearing on what the fuck you do? It is a lot more likely that you will lose every single cent that you spend. And does it matter that somebody like Jabril, shout out to Jabril for Passport Heavy, makes like $50, $75, $75,000 a month? No. That's like me saying, all right, we both work at a company, we both sell shit, and I'm a top A1 salesman. That does not mean that you're gonna be a top A1 salesman. And so the
Yeah.
reality is, if somebody tells me to show money, I'm gonna be like, well, you're not really serious. Buy next, because here's the thing about me, you gotta understand. I have 1,000 leads. I just got a new batch of 1,000 leads. I have a real talk, and I shouldn't even tell y'all this. I have a thing with my leads, because I spent $1,500, $2,000 like a year ago for that. I bought somebody's position that this is a dude. Where's motherfuckers in the Philippines that call these leads, and these are legit telephone interview leads. Dude, shout out Robert Blackman. Go look him up. Robert Blackman of Profit Leads University. The stuff, actually, some of the stuff I'm telling y'all about, I sell, and there
Yeah.
is no links where I'm at to click on. I, fuck,
Yeah. You were Borgin there for a minute, but
because I'm
yeah.
telling you right now, I'm not want to do. But that's specifically to be separate that from this stuff. Just like it's like a buck out of here. And I'm not saying that to beat up on you. I'm saying that because I want this very what I'm doing. This is about what you doing. And at the end of the day, I only alluded to this stuff because this stuff was brought up in the context of the conversation. But when I do get more in the manosphere with that shit, I'm not showing nobody a motherfucking thing. O'Shea don't show y'all his money, and that don't stop y'all motherfuckers from giving it to him. The fuck.
Mhm.
Anyway, I just wanted to make that point, because people talk about show money, they'll sell little slick shit like that. Like, there's a video out here of the dude. I'm not even gonna mention who the dude is. He's trying to tear Kevin apart, and in the comments they trying to talk about Kevin's like masculinity and shit. And the dude actually made the video is real suspect as hell. You're gonna have haters, and the thing about, and I'm not saying that about that. I just want people to understand very clearly that's not what it's about. So it's not. But you said Morgan Freeman, show me the money from the club, show money from clubs. Now it's called show money that rappers do. Oh, okay. Anyway, but what? Don't take it. It's not personally at you. It's just I'm glad you put that. And so yeah, all right, man, you good. Let me put the other thing you said too, so I make sure. Oh, okay. But anyway, I want to make that very clear because I'm not gonna, because the stuff I'm gonna do. Yeah, sometimes you may be like, okay, this is the success that people are having, but you don't lead. Because here's the thing: if I bring somebody in and I show people how much money I'm making, then they have to do the same thing. They can't do the same thing if they don't have it. You see what I'm saying? So that's not fair because that gives me an artificial advantage and that kind of undercuts the work I'm telling them to do. So anyway, 580, we're good. You just gave me the inspiration to say that. But anyway, and Ari, I still need to get, yeah, do I have your email?
You don't. I think.
All right, you need to
I think I gave it to you, but if not, I'll give it to you again. Hold on. I'll just
put, whoa, yeah, put it in the thing.
I'll put
All
it.
right, so
I'll put it in the private chat. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Slim's G7, you know who I'm talking about? Yeah, man, and that's a marketing. And by the way, that's a marketing tactic. That they did the same thing to Grant Cardone. Like that's as far as I'm concerned, that's a bitch move. All right.
There you go. It's
yeah, I got it. Let me make sure I copy that. Yeah, that's a bitch move. That hold on. That's a bitch move. That's a real bitch move. And even though it's effective, I hate it. And I won't never say never. But I swear, man, I'm gonna be very disappointed in myself if I ever do that. But that's a bitch move. When you sit there, like, because I'm gonna tell you, like me and Kevin's had our differences low key, and Kevin had differences with people in the manosphere. But I'm gonna keep it real with you. If it wasn't for O'Shea making that video about saying beefs are not profitable, and this was like Manosphere 2.0, that dude wouldn't have a channel. And I'm not saying that dude, I don't believe in flagging people. I don't believe in that. But that dude wouldn't have a channel because he'd be embarrassed. Because the whole Manosphere, because here's the thing, you got Kevin, you got O'Shea, and you got other people. Angerman is getting up there too, by the way. And you got people in the Manosphere, and even though people disagree, to a certain extent, when you got folks like that he think he gonna play this comparison game. This dude ain't got the same kind of money fucking Kevin has, and he gonna play I'm gonna absorb all the haters that Kevin's got because they got a lot of energy, and I'm gonna use that as the go at him. No, fuck that, because most of the motherfuckers are losers. There was a video that was 10 minutes long and had 1,000 comments because it was talking about Kevin. You know them motherfuckers a bit. And it was a lot of dudes in there too. Let's be clear. That was about 35% dudes, 40% dudes. So this ain't no, I'm about to just go after females. It was a lot of dudes that felt some type of way because when he established who a high value man is, rather than seeing that as a call to action, or is that just his opinion? Because you know what I talk about with the genetic currency shit, they actually feel some type of way about that. That's some bitch ass shit. And that nigga's a bitch. And I'm going to tell you, I ain't going to have respect for anybody that interviews him. And you know who that is. And if you see who I'm talking about, you will be like, damn. So we'll see. But sometimes some of this shit, I don't know if it's fake, if it's whatever, if it's just designed to get people ginned up. But I think he's serious because he didn't just do that with Kevin. He did that with a couple other people too. And I get it because people will say, well, what about MOT? But MOT doesn't do it to get views. MOT does it because of difference of opinion. That's a different situation.
Yeah.
But like this dude is just doing to get views and taking advantage of a lot of haters. But you only get to that level when you have so many haters to hate on you. Because I was like, God damn. But anyway, let me finally end this shit and stop saying I'm going to end this shit.
Bro.
All right, appreciate it, man.
All right, bro.
Yep. So.
Yep.